Working out or working hard, Centrum has your nutrition covered. With Centrum, you benefit from what science is discovering about how vitamins and minerals help maintain health and strengthen immunity. Centrum, always complete from A to Z.
Introducing chicken salad at Subway. Try our delicious chicken salad sub, handmade right in front of you. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
Here in America, home means different things to different people. But we're pretty much agreed on what it means to own a home. It has something to do with stronger communities, safer streets, better schools, and the hopes and dreams that America was built on. So whatever home means, one thing's certain. It's a lot more than just four walls and a roof. For a free guide that can help you on the path to home ownership, call the Fannie Mae Foundation.
If you've never experienced the thrill of Mach 3, it's wake-up time. Introducing Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple-blade shaving system. 3 blades positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3, so you don't have to shave over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Only after you've been there and opened your eyes do you see the possibilities. There's no backing down in the playoffs. You must feel the force around you, for it comes after you relentlessly and steals life from your soul if you don't stand your ground. Your focus will decide tonight's game. Energy and emotion will follow. It's win or go home. It's Sacramento versus Utah. Game 2 of the series is up next on TBS. Along with Reggie Theus and Cheryl Miller, Bob Neal with you from the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, where the Utah Jazz got out to a commanding 1-0 lead. And if you wonder why 1-0 can be commanding, well, it's in the way they did it. A 30-point win for Utah in Game 1 here at the Delta Center on Saturday. And it was the battle-tested veterans giving the new kids on the block a lesson. And Reggie, what lesson?
Well, I tell you what, when you look at only 123 games of total playoff experience, the Kings found out in Game 1 what the playoffs were all about. They have to shoot the ball better because they're not going to play any defense. They came out in Game 1 only 36% from the field. Now, from the inside game, they have to take care of Wahed, has to go to the post. Vlade Divac has to start his game from the outside and then take Ostertag on the inside. And that's what the Kings have to do if they want to pull one off.
Plus, the stars are out. We have Chris Webber versus Karl Malone. That'll be a power forward matchup not to miss. We'll be back with a tip-off in just a moment.
Uh-oh. I'm a junior VP, and all the junior VPs have one of these. So I'll just call my secretary, and then she'll... Voicemail. Chuck, number 4's down.
Gotcha.
I'm a mailroom guy, and all the mailroom guys get to see the phones that the senior VPs get.
Nextel's two-way radio feature makes ordinary cell phones seem ordinary.
Oh. Mm. Oh. Oh, baby.
Hey, Mr. Dinky's busy.
Hey, Dinky, I quit.
Oh, no. Oh.
Mr. Dinky, I'm not quitting. That was a joke, sir.
Oh, honey.
Missed a great night. We laughed, we cried, watched The Lion King 35 times.
You know what you need? A nice, hot breakfast.
Bet I do.
Then you better get to McDonald's. Oh, don't forget the hash browns.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
We are training him so well.
Hi, I'm Maximum Protection, the authority for Napa Gold filters. Today's driving conditions are severe, with frequent stopping and road dirt. But I hold 45% more dirt than the leading national brand. And that's important, because I help your engine last longer. So put me to work and get the maximum protection of Napa Gold filters.
Napa, over 200,000 parts, and everyone's important.
How long are they going to worship this guy? Hey! We got Cy Young winners over here! Come on, Alice! Step into it!
Feel bigger?
Yeah.
Hi, Top.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Hey, have you guys seen Mark?
You guys seen Mark?
People get into gardening to settle their nerves. I guess I'm a nervous person. We get our plants from local growers. That way they're fresh. That's an ocean of reds and lavenders and pinks and purples. How will that plant bond with it? We want our customers to know that they can come here and find quality. This is a beautiful choice. They're cheery. Home Depot has a 1-year guarantee on their plants. If they die, just bring them back and we will replace them. You get the price and you get quality, plus you get the Carol Eddy service.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Had enough?
Let's go.
Anything you can be, I can be greater.
Ready to stop?
Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
I'm not stopping.
Yes,
I'm not stopping.
I'm not stopping. No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Sacramento Kings starting lineup. Despite their troubles in Game 1, Rick Adelman staying with the same starters. Jason Williams only 2 assists in Game 1. Weber and Divot's early foul trouble, and that was really the difference in that ball game. Now for the Utah Jazz, you know they'll stay with what they had. John Stockton, 17 points in only 23 minutes, 18 from Hornacek. Karl Malone had 21 and 9 assists. Ostertag, a career playoff high. And let's go to Cheryl Miller now with an update on Chris Weber. Cheryl.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Well, one thing that I've noticed about Chris Weber is he does not like to make any excuses. Even after their loss, he didn't want to blame his poor performance on his sore back, even though he did quietly tell him that he was feeling only 75%. But before the game, I asked him how his back was feeling. He said yesterday he had a great practice. He's feeling about 90% and looking forward to having a great game. Guys?
Thanks, Cheryl. That's up 15% in Game 1. Good news for the Kings. We'll have Ostertag and Divac jumping at Game 2. Underway here at the Delta Center. Malone handles it to Stockton.
Bob, in the beginning of this game, you're going to see the Kings want to guard Karl Malone quite a bit differently. John Stockton takes a nice fall there. Hitting up slow. That's unusual for John because he's usually like a bouncing ball. He hits it and gets right back up.
And they give the personal foul to Chris Weber to start this game, and that's bad news because Weber got an early foul trouble in the other game. Want to remind you that we'll update you on that New York Knicks and Miami Heat game with interviews at halftime, so be sure and stay with us for that. Miami getting the victory, 83-73.
It's bad news for John Stockton, but not a bad way to start the game off for the Kings. They were lack of physicality in Game 1. This might be a message to the whole King team that, hey, I'm coming out here tonight ready to play. I just took one just to let you know that.
As you see, John Stockton shooting the technical free throw because Weber picked up a flagrant foul. So it's 2 free throws and the ball, not a technical, 2 free throws and the ball. So Chris Webber will know if his back's okay after leveling John Stockton. Utah won the first game by 30 points. Hornacek with 18. There's the old give and go. Rebound, Vlade Divac out to Jason Williams. Look out, the rookie's exciting. The lob misses. Abdul Wahed. Exciting but scary for Rick Adelman.
Well, this is the way the Kings have to play if they want to win this game. Obviously, they don't want to make turnovers, but they got to let it all hang out. Bob, they got nothing to lose. They're playing for respect in this series.
Inside to Malone. When he's that low, look out. Malone was posted right inside under the basket. 4-0 Utah. Remember, in game one, the Jazz jumped out 12-2 and had a 17-point lead at the end of period number one. Kings have yet to score. Webber should score here. Webber gets the opening points of the game for the Sacramento Kings. And Chris Webber had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, but 10 of Webber's 14 points in game one came after the game was well in the hands of Utah.
But one of the things you'll see the Kings do tonight is they want to play Karl Malone single coverage. That will allow the Kings not to have to double team and everybody else get involved in the game. Now, the Kings want to get up and down the floor, but they have to do it by valuing the ball. Right here, I thought it was a good idea, but just a little bit out of Abdul Wahed's reach on that play, but they have to do that in order to get into their flow and their tempo.
The foul on Vlade Divac, so both Divac and Webber once again getting early fouls in this game. With 10 on the shot clock, Hornacek from the corner. I think Chris Webber may have got a piece of that. Abdul Wahed working on Hornacek. Wahed at 6'6", nice pass. Webber misses the jam. Back comes Stockton. Has Malone left. Russell right. Stockton. Hornacek, the trailer on the left side. 6-2 Utah.
Stockton is so good. I'm talking the very last possible second he made that play happen.
Divac from 19. Excellent outside shooter. Reggie, as you said in the open, Divac needs to start outside and go inside with his offense, and that's what he just did.
And that's what he has to do, Bob, in order to keep Ostertag away from changing shots, not so much blocking everything. Vlade has to use his ability to drive into the hole.
There's Malone inside, the block from Webber. Malone down. Jason Williams threading the needle, knocked out of bounds by Utah. 21 on the shot clock. So Webber with a good news, bad news. First, the bad news.
Well, Webber started the game off with a whole lot of intensity. Right here, a little bit too aggressive on the dunk. Maybe not even a little bit up. But right here, again, already he's been involved in 6 plays in the early part of this game.
Jazz 6-4. Divac out at the high post, gets it to Wahed. That is a 2, and it is tied at 6.
See, Bob, this is what's interesting about this game so far, is that the Kings want this game in a frenzy. If they could keep this kind of tempo and this kind of chaos going, they could play in this game with the Jazz all night. The Jazz are going to have to work on their tempo.
Hornacek tries to feed inside to Malone, out of bounds off the Kings. 10 on the shot clock. 9:20 to go in period number 1. Tied 6-6, game 2. Utah won game 1. 117-87. They jumped out to a 12-2 lead in that game. Not so here. Hornacek off the screen, pulls it back with now 5 seconds on the shot clock. See it on the left of your screen. Lob end to Malone. Divac was fronting him, and Malone missed the lay-in.
There are 2 people in this league that you cannot front with stationary defense, Karl Malone and Shaquille O'Neal, because they have guys that can thread the needle. Right there, nice soft pass. Usually that's butter for Karl Malone, but right there, a little bit of a rush, but look at the effort that's going on the floor. Guys trying to protect their face from getting smushed.
Williamson and Malone will jump it up. Loose ball run down and out of bounds. Looked like Wahed touched it. It will be Utah ball. New shot clock. Tied at 6.
Already the lesson learned from game 1 for the Kings. Look at the intensity level and the energy level that they came out in this game with already. And some of it from a defensive standpoint, which we don't see very much from the Kings.
Stockton to Malone. This time not so close. Tries the jump shot. Webber, 2 quick fouls. Webber got 2 fouls in the first 6 minutes of game number 1, and now he has 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes of this game. Webber has to be on the floor. Those were his words. I can't play Malone if I'm not on the floor. I must avoid fouls. He has 2 early.
And one of the things he said to me before the game is that he's going to play Malone with an exaggerated hands up and away from him so that the referees can't make any mistakes. What he doesn't want are the cheap ones. That was a legitimate foul. And Carl, playing against Carl Bobby, one of the toughest guys around, not to get a cheap call made on you because he's always going after you for the foul.
Malone missed that first free throw. Carl, of course, an excellent free throw shooter at 79%. Took more free throws than anybody in the NBA this year. Averaged just under 10 a game. It's 7-6 Utah. Big story, Divac with 1 personal early, Chris Webber with 2.
But I like the fact that Adelman didn't take him out of the game because the Kings know that getting off to a good start is essential tonight.
Spin move, Divac. Vlade missed his first 4 shots in game 1. He's hit his first 2 in this game, and the Kings have their first lead ever in this year's playoffs. They never led in game number 1. Karl Malone from the corner, and the lead was short-lived. Weber wide open from 17.
See, I believe that the energy level that the Kings have put out on the defensive side to start this game has really got them in their motivation and their legs moving.
Hit on Jeff Hornacek at 18 points. 6 better than his season average of 12 in game 1. Malone left alone for the jumper. Now you've got a switch going on with Divac and Malone, with Weber carrying the 2 fouls, and Malone opens up with 7 of the Jazz 11 points. Jason Williams and the Kings shooting much better. They shot only 36% in game number 1.
Only chance they got tonight, Bob, is to really be able to put the ball in the hole, because their defense is not going to make any big stops. They're not going to do anything that way. If they do, it'll be a surprise to all of us.
Kings are 6 of 7 to start this game from the floor. Kings 12, Jazz 11. These 3 teams played in overtime in their 3 regular season meetings. Utah winning 2 of the game. That foul is going to be on Williamson.
And one of the keys tonight, obviously, Divac from the perimeter, and now taking it inside. Nice spin move and going to his left hand. Ostertag flagging at the missed shot.
Sacramento has committed 4 team fouls early. Utah none. Timeout on the floor. Kings lead it by 1.
Look, I say we just go over there.
No, let's just play it cool.
Will you come on? They're looking at us.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, let's go over there.
But I get the one with the Michelob Light.
How come I always get the ugly one?
There's ordinary beer. Then there's the smooth, refreshing taste of Michelob Light. Beer or Michelob?
Are you 2 sisters?
You want to know who's offering free Minute Mondays on collect calls in May?
1-800-CALL-ATT.
You want to know how to get 5 free minutes after you talk 5 minutes?
CALL-ATT.
You're wondering what's a simple and inexpensive way to call collect?
CALL-ATT.
Talk 5 minutes and get 5 minutes free during May. It's free Minute Mondays on collect calls. Try it this Monday, only from 1-800-CALL-ATT.
CALL-ATT. CALL-ATT. I got it.
This track may be empty now, but on Memorial Day weekend, this place is rocking.
The CarQuest Auto Parts 300 and the Coca-Cola 600. Memorial Day weekend only on the Superstation.
Back here at the Delta Center in Sacramento, much better start tonight, up by 1 point. John Stockton always putting his body into people. Look at this. Corliss Williamson can't get around John Stockton. The only way you can do it is by being physical with the little guy. And, of course, he can shoot his free throws, so he welcomes that kind of action.
Cheryl Miller, what do you have for us?
I'll tell you something, Bob and Reggie. Jerry Sloan very upset on this last time out. So, look, guys, I told you coming into tonight's game that Sacramento was going to come out and be physical. They're knocking you around. We're not matching that physical game. He said, and more importantly, we're not getting it done at the defensive end.
Well, sure, exactly right, and that is something that Jerry Sloan talked about before the game, and the Kings have taken notice from game one and come out here and did just that, playing more physical basketball.
Malone steals it from Weber. Russell on the break. Lay-in is good, and it's 14-12 Jazz. Weber tried to power inside. The quick hands of Karl Malone, famous for raking that ball loose. 7:14 to go in the first period. Jason Williams working on Stockton. Pass inside, Corliss Williams. He misses. Weber follows.
Nice play. Jason Williams finding Corliss in the middle of the lane. Puts up almost looked like an air ball. And Chris Weber tonight is very active. He has a look on his face of determination.
And C-Webb is 3 of 4 with 6 points. John Stockton being defended by Jason Williams. Double team. Who's open? Russell, 17-footer. Rims out. Malone is there for the offensive board. Karl Malone. Malone has early in this game 9 of the Jazz 16 points.
Well, he may have a big night because tonight they don't want to double team Karl Malone.
Weber ball fake reverse. Wow. Chris Weber, a man possessed tonight. He has 8 points early, but remember, is carrying 2 early fouls. Tied at 16, 6:15 to go, first period.
Bob, Chris told me before the game that he was embarrassed in game one, and tonight he promised it would be different.
Hornacek picked up the deflected pass and got it to Greg Ostertag, his first hoop of the night. Remember, Ostertag had a career playoff high, 16 points and 6 blocks in game number 1. Jazz by 2. Crowd, as usual in Utah, very into it. Jason Williams had to make a nice play just to catch that pass. Pull-up jumper for 3. Jason Williams, and it's 19-18 Kings.
Oh, it's beautiful when it's happening. He just put it up right on the money. John Stockton never had a chance to even get his hands up.
Jason is 2 for 2. Grabbed Stockton, got away with a foul. Beautiful save by Devos. Out in front. Williamson. Fouled by Ostertag and 1.
Sacramento Kings played that pick and roll the way that Adelman told me they want it. It's their blue defense. They want to push it sidelines right there. Check out this defense and the hustle by Vlade Divac. And look, when you got chances, play defense, you got a chance to make layups, and Corliss Williamson found a way to get into the game, and that is by moving in the early offense. Not a whole lot of post-up opportunities for him. Sometimes he has a hard time finding shots on the floor. Is his big adjustment to get shots in this game.
Well, it's tough down to the post with Divac and Weber down there. 8-2 run Sacramento. They're up 4 points in this game. The runner doesn't go ahead. Weber behind the back, nice feed, knocked out of bounds by Utah, 17. I started to say nice feed. It was a risky feed to Corliss Williamson, and 17 on the shot clock.
And Bob, that's what happens to them a lot. I think that was overpass. He should have took the little 6-footer.
Behind the back, Jason Williams. Oh, you gotta love this rookie. Got an illegal defense against Utah. First one, that'll be the warning. Sideline out of bounds. Gary Sloan has never seen an illegal defense on the Jazz yet. And he says they don't play
or a foul.
Illegal defense. Jason Williams with a new shot clock. 5 minutes to go in the period. Kings up by 4. The rainbow 3 doesn't fall. And Hornacek back with the Jazz. You know one thing, Jazz don't get rattled. Howard Isley into the ball game for John Stockton. Usually comes in with about 5 or 6 minutes to go in the first period. Gives Stockton his rest. Malone, not this time. Weber with a rebound to Jason Williams. Williams has Williamson on the left. Finds Divac, who popped out from the center, and Weber, he'll take the 3. And make it. Chris Weber on fire. 25-18 Sacramento. Weber has 11. He had only 14 in game number 1. Didn't get his first basket until a minute was remaining in the first half. A whole different story for C-Webb here tonight. 10 on the shot clock. Go ahead defending Hornacek. 6 on the shot clock. Hornacek loves the floater in the lane. Not this time. Ostertag there for the big board. Ball stripped. Utah ball.
Risky play by C-Webb. Going after that slap on Ostertag. Could have easily been his 3rd foul, but what do? You got to go and play defense, regardless of how many fouls you end up with.
Kings up by 7. 3:57 in the period. Isley hits it. A And that reduces the lead to 5. 25-20 as Isley coming off a very good game number 1. Howard had 14 points, 4 assists, 2 of 3 from three-point range in only 22 minutes. Weber, bad pass attempt. Wanted to find Divac after penetration. Hornacek, look at that shovel pass to Malone off the loose ball, and Abdul-Wahed picks up the personal. Looked for a moment as though it was Divac, but it was Abdul-Wahed. Divac carrying one person.
Right now, the Kings have the Jazz playing their style of basketball. Raggedy, kind of up and down, helter-skelter type of ball. But this is what has to happen. The Jazz, Bob, really don't want to get into this helter-skelter game. They want to play the shot clock until about 8 seconds left and then get a shot, because they know that that keeps their game in control and it helps them on the defensive end. They always feel that if they can make the Kings take it out of bounds, and they don't have to worry about the transition defense.
And Weber will get his first rest of the game, and Scott Pollard checks in. Pollard had a good game 1, 8 points, 2 boards in only 18 minutes. By the way, in case you're dialing in late, Miami beat the Knicks 83-73. Interviews following that game will be aired at halftime on this one. Stay with us. 3-point lead now. Chris Webber, 11 points, 2 boards, but most importantly, 2 personal fouls. Williamson draws the double team. Pollard has it stripped by Hornacek or Ostertag, and the Jazz come back with a chance to tie with a triple. Isley feeds Malone. Malone has it tipped away. Loose ball. Ostertag. Malone didn't take the shot. Feeds Ostertag. Loose ball coming to us, but saved by Hornacek. New shot clock, and they're on their feet at the Delta Center for the Jazz hustle.
Well, that's great hustle by the Jazz and pretty good defense by the Kings. Vlade doing a nice job keeping his body in between those, tagging the basket.
Isley all the way cross court to Hornacek. Hornacek with the pass to Russell on the baseline. Wahed with the rebound. Jazz had their opportunity. Jason Williams turnover to Isley. Jason exciting, but a lot of turnovers. Look at that. He got it right back on the block. Turned it over, stole it. Wahed inside, fouled by Ostertag. That's 2 on Ostertag. .225 to go in the first period. Kings lead it by 3. Timeout on the floor. Kings will have the ball. Check the block. I think it was Hornacek that got it.
Let's jump.
Philips CD recorder.
See life's rarest moments caught on the viewfinder of Life Camera Action.
That looks like a lot of fun.
Wild moments with wild animals. Brave moments with brave people. Muddy moments with muddy people? Well, you get the idea. Spend a few moments with Kristen Eichel.
Just for the fun of it.
Now there's an hour of Life Camera Action, weeknights at 8, 7 Central on Fox Family Channel.
You sell these direct broadcast satellite dishes, is that correct, sir?
Yes, Senator. We sell DBS systems.
But isn't it true that DBS systems don't carry local programming?
There's nothing illegal about that.
But if someone has cable TV, they still get local programming, like local news, sports, and weather, for example.
When you sell someone a DBS system, do you tell them they can't get their local channels anymore?
Answer that? I don't have to answer that.
If you're thinking about DBS, you might want to think twice. Cable TV, the best value in home entertainment.
I don't have to answer that.
Chris Webber resting on the bench right now with 11 points and 2 early rebounds. Remember, he is the NBA's leading rebounder. He comes out on fire, Reggie.
And I tell you what, it all started with that flagrant foul against John Stockton. Got him going, got his emotions in here, and sent a message that he's come to play tonight, starting the game off very strong. In Sacramento, shooting 73% from the field. Great role reversal from the first game with the intensity level of the Kings.
And you see the Jazz owner, Larry Miller, certainly one of the most successful owners in the NBA. And Larry, we might say, one of the more vocal owners in the NBA.
That's been said on occasion.
What's your take early on this ball game with your club?
Well, there's no question that Sacramento came a lot more ready to play tonight than they did Saturday. And as Reggie said earlier, Chris Webber set the intensity tone right from the get-go, and he's got 11 points already, and they're here thumping on us pretty good right now.
Well, Larry, we first of all appreciate your wearing the headset as Chris Webber is resting that bad back on the sideline, and we're going to be chatting with you off and on throughout this ball game. So just stand by. We'll be coming to you surprisingly whenever it seems appropriate.
Okay, that's fine.
And if you have anything to say to a player, why, just go right on.
Okay.
Malone gets the pass from Hornacek. Tipped away Jason Williams. Out of bounds. It'll belong to Utah. Jason Williams with a near steal. Kings up 4, 27-22, 2:11 to go. First period of play.
Great indication of the Kings being much better defensively tonight. As you see, the hustle of Jason Williams almost pulled that out, just barely getting on the line. But that play prior to that, as you see,
a quick three by Isley, certainly out of the rhythm of the Utah Jazz. As you pointed, they like to run the clock down a bit and get into their half court, but Isley pulled the trigger quickly there, thus the rebound to the Kings with 10 on the shot clock. Inside Williamson. It falls. Divac did not touch the ball. 29-22.
You have to know that that is making Jerry Sloan furious with the way his club is taking quick shots and not into their sets of offense.
Malone takes a quick one here. Carl misses. Isley with the board inside. How'd he get that? Hornacek from Isley. 5-point Kings lead. Minute 25 to go. First period. Williams gets past Isley for the short jumper. Larry Miller, your take on Jason Williams.
He's terrific. He first time I saw him play this year, about the third play down the court, I turned to my wife Gail and said, that kid can play. He's got he'd have to learn a little bit more discipline, but he's got incredible talent.
Yeah, Jerry Sloan pointed out something as we see the turnover here going. We have a timeout on the floor. No, we don't. We're going to just have an inbounds as we have a wholesale change of players on the floor right now with a minute to go. Barry and Maxwell on the floor for Sacramento Kings. John Barry and Vernon Maxwell, who've been getting increased playing time down the stretch. Barry, particularly during the last 8 games, Barry, one of the keys to the Kings going 10 of 11 down the stretch. John open. Good perimeter shooter. Not this time. Rebound. Russell. 31-24 Kings. 42 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Kings have scored 31 points in this period. They had only 17 in the first period in game number 1. Ostertag from the perimeter misses. Barry goes for the rebound. We'll have a loose ball foul. Larry, one of the things that Jerry Sloan told us that he thinks about Jason Williams is that John Stockton got a chance to play behind Ricky Green before he broke in, and Jason has to play earlier. Your take on that, the same thing, really a problem for Jason?
That's exactly right, because they don't have a mentor to teach them the discipline of the game that's needed. They can get by with some of that flair and hot dog stuff in college, but in this league, it's pretty unforgiving.
Particularly against the veteran Utah Jazz. 31-24, Kings, 10 seconds to go in the period. Utah waiting to take the last shot. A surprising first period. Isley penetrates. Hornacek loves the floater. Doesn't go. Rebound Pollard. Surprising first period. Kings 31-24. The Kings shoot 65%. They lead by 7 after 1.
This track may be empty now, but on Memorial Day weekend, this place is rocking.
Charlotte's great, and
enthusiasm is just incredible. Hundreds of thousands of screaming fans screaming for you.
Get your blood pumping immediately.
It's always wild. I love that racetrack. It got lots of room and lots of speed. You couldn't ask for any better than that.
It's the Great American Racing Weekend, and it's only on the Superstation.
The CarQuest Auto Parts 300 and the Coca-Cola 600. Memorial Day weekend only on the Superstation.
He was an outcast who became a hero. They were his forgotten battalion who became the enemy.
Our last obstacle must now be dealt with. It's up to you to do it.
This spring, they'll meet again for the last time. Lethal Weapon 4's Jet Li is Black Mask. Rated R starts Friday.
Jack forgot his briefcase.
I can see him.
Don't worry. We both have Nextel.
He's crossing the street. Phone him.
Nah, it's too easy. I can text page him. Yeah, where's the fun in that?
If he gets to the airport without the presentation, we're dead.
Time for the secret weapon. Two-way radio feature. Right about now. Hey, Jack. Hold up, my man. I think you... Jack?
Nextel's integrated features make ordinary cell phones seem ordinary.
Think something that small can't hurt your car? Even smaller carbon deposits can clog your car's fuel injectors. So use Gum Out Extra Fuel Injector Cleaner to get rid of deposits for smoother overall performance. And did I mention better acceleration?
Drive your fuel injectors clean with Gum Out Extra.
Welcome back to the Delta Center. Just moments ago, look at the mascot, but look who's playing defense. Our own Cheryl Miller.
Oh, she's seen people drive on her like that before.
Cheryl, you need to have your hands up here defensively.
Hey, Bob, first of all, Bob Aragi, you know that is the only time anybody's ever dunked on me, and he needed a trampoline for that. Come on with it.
I like your style. I like your style. Cheryl was out there pumping this crowd.
I'm trying to get everybody excited in the Delta Center. They need a little help right now.
Yeah. Down 31-24. Kings shooting 65% of the first period, 4 out of 5 from the perimeter. Jazz only 41%, 3 out of 8 from outside.
Well, I think the Kings have taken heed to their 3-hour tape session and learned a few things, really sticking with the game plan tonight, especially on the defensive end. A lot of plays they're stopping that they didn't in game one. Right there, nice pass by Maxwell, finding Vlade Divac, and that's what happens. When you play tough defense, you get the easy ones on the other end.
Stojakovic also on the floor for the Kings right now, along with John Barry and Maxwell. Greg Foster tries it from the perimeter. Rebound, John Barry. We've been talking about at the beginning of the ball game about the matchup between Malone and Weber and the forwards. And we're going to take a look at what they've done early in this game in just a moment. Right now, Divac backing in. Foster and one. Vlade Divac with a big play. Foster not nearly strong enough to keep Divac off the block.
Well, Vlade Divac always looking to go under someone's arm right there. He's not going to go over the top, but found a way to go under Foster's arms to get the three-point play.
Vlade Divac, a 70% free throw shooter, gets the three-point play. Kings 36-24. We talk about the forward comparisons. Look at this. Couldn't be more even. 11 and 2 for both of them. The big difference there is that Weber has 2 personal fouls. Nice speed. Foster gets it to roll. 36-26. Kings had led by 12 until that basket.
Now, you know what happens right here, Bob. The Kings come out with great energy. It's having the ability to sustain that energy for 48 minutes is the key.
John Barry with the drive draws the foul. Some hot words down there between Foster and Divac. Vlade came out of this game with a whole lot more fire, and the technical is going to go on Greg Foster. He's going to go to the bench, and we're going to get Todd Fuller on the floor.
Well, I got to see something more than just a hard foul, because right there, I thought he just really went after the ball in a defensive manner. Nothing that would warrant a technical foul unless it happened afterwards. That's just a hard NBA foul, and maybe right here is why he got the technical foul.
There's the talking. It was a personal and a technical on Foster. Didn't see much action there either. Nevertheless, it was a personal and a technical. And John Barry will shoot the technical. Down the stretch, Barry has been really alive from the free throw line. Barry hit 46 of 51 free throws down that 8-game stretch. That's a 91% average. He's 85% on the season.
Bob, is there something wrong with me? Or why would they give Foster a foul for getting in Vladdy's face when they're both were cussing each other out?
Something maybe we didn't see. I certainly didn't see technical foul on the replay. I agree with that. Larry Miller, do we have the headphone on Larry? We're going to, right after they inbound this, we're going to check with Larry and see what he thinks.
Well, you know what he's going to say.
Well, we'll see.
He had one called on him.
He knows technicals. Okay, Larry Miller, what did you think about that?
Well, I was surprised. They must have called it a flagrant foul because they kept possession, and I sure didn't see a flagrant on it.
That was just a hard defensive play, I thought, the kind of basketball you like to see from your own team.
Well, Barry put his shoulder down and went into Greg pretty hard, but I could see the technical, frankly, but I couldn't see the flagrant. So.
Barry from Divac doesn't get it. Russell with a rebound. It was a technical, Larry, by the way, on Foster, not a flagrant. So
then why do they keep possession?
Still, yeah, I don't know. Still mysterious.
Well, they keep possessions on all technicals.
Illegal defense. The call against the Kings. That's their first illegal defense, and that will be a warning. And Chris Webber now checking into the ball game, and it's 39-26. Kings up by 13. Divac will get his first rest to a round of boos, but I have a feeling Vladdy is happy to hear those boos because he has 11 points, 3 boards, and a block, and is getting the best of Ostertag early. Wave off the basket. We've got a foul before the shot. It's on Maxwell, his first person. Maxwell wants to get into the head, or try to, get into the head of Howard Isley. He was trash-talking Howard in the entire game, even though the Kings were being drubbed, and Isley said, I've learned since I've been with the Jazz to just play through.
Well, they need a little bit of Maxwell's tenacity out here tonight, and that's what he's brought with them all year long.
Russell with the rebound off the thorough Bailey miss. Bailey will try it again. He won't miss this time. 39-28, 9:49 to go in the first half. Pick and roll Barry, back to Webber. C-Web, pull-up jumper, no. Thought about it a little too long, maybe. Todd Fuller with the ball to Howard Isley. Isley to Bailey. On the shot clock. Maxwell gets a big pick from Thurl Bailey, and they're going to call him for the foul as Bailey, according to Tom Washington, was moving when he set the pick. We have a timeout on the floor. It looked like he might have been moving. Nevertheless, the ball will go to the Kings when we come back from this timeout.
CNN Sports Illustrated, the sports network more people are switching to. Call your cable or satellite provider.
They say technology gives you the freedom to experience the world, especially when it's so affordable. Like Jeep Cherokee Sport. With air, power windows and locks, and remote keyless entry at no extra charge. Cherokee Sport. Now that's a cool way to access the sites you see online.
Been playing for a while. Been playing since I was 8. Been a pretty big part of my life, from my upbringing, and now I just play whenever I can. But I have a lot of fun with it though.
More insight. MSG is more than just a game.
Is your business moving fast enough? Get red. Red is 17 times faster than 56K, 8 times faster than ISDN. Red is high-speed digital connectivity over standard phone lines. Red is affordable. Red is here. Call 1-888-RED-2000.
Well, speaking of technical fouls, Larry Miller knows about them. By the way, Larry, this is a shot of your technical when you were chatting with Greg Anthony. Take us through this.
Okay. Well,
what's on your mind right there, Larry?
Well, when Greg Anthony came in, he was hammering on John pretty good. And that foul he nailed him with right at center court, I thought he just kind of took him down with a forearm shiver. So I called him a cheap shot artist. He took offense to that and came at me pretty hard, suggested a couple of things he was going to do to me right after he finished with John. And I just reacted in a way that I shouldn't have.
Larry, by the way, we appreciate you being a good sport to be talking about that, and thank you very much for being willing to wear a headset with us a little bit and talk about it. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Larry.
You bet.
8:48 to go in the first half. 41-28, 41-30 Kings. And Sacramento out to an 11-point lead. They've led by as many as 13. The give and go inside to Maxwell couldn't handle it from Chris Webber. It's going to be Utah ball.
Sacramento Kings doing a great job defensively so far in this game. And right here, a little bit of a breakdown right there, letting Shannon Anderson get baseline, but also a great pass by John Stockton. Jason Williams gets all the ooh-wee plays, but John Stockton's passes are just as incredible.
Like that one, Thurl Bailey makes some pay. Scott Pollard couldn't get to him. Stockton threaded the needle. 41-32. John Stockton, the NBA's all-time assist and steals leader.
And doesn't do it with a lot of flair and a lot of fanfare, just on the money.
6 assists already tonight, go with his 4 points. 10 on the shot clock for the Kings. Now leading by 9. Barry on the penetration, won't fall. Barry falls. Here comes Utah. Isley. Defended by Webber.
Good transition defense by the Kings. One of the things that they had to do better tonight.
Isley pull up. Stojakovic at 6'9", the 21-year-old Serbian. Peja Stojakovic with the rebound. Also excellent ball handler. They think he'll be a star. Inside to Barry, who got bounced. Comes up with the ball and finally is fouled. Boy, it is a rough game. You said, Reggie, at the beginning, this would be more physical, and physical it is indeed.
And what I like is the Kings are taking the physicality to the Jazz. Very important. And this second unit for the Kings played big for them during the regular season. In one game, they scored 83 points off the bench. And tonight, doing a great job of staying in the game and keeping the intensity level flowing for the Kings.
Already the Jazz with 4 team fouls, and we have 7:21 to go in the half. Weber on the drive, wouldn't follow. Pollard. Anderson blows by everybody. That'll bring them to their feet at the Delta Center.
Peja with a poor defensive decision right there. Should have taken Shannon Anderson out on that offensive play.
Indecision on whose ball it'll be. Joey Crawford, Tom Washington finally decide it will belong to Utah as the Jazz are on a 6-0 run in a frenzy kind of game, which you would normally think would go to the favor of the Sacramento Kings. 41-34 Kings. They led by 13. 6:54 to go in the half. Stockton alone, pick and roll. Stockton all the way to the hoop. Kick out. Shandon Anderson misses the 3. Rebound Stockton. New shot clock.
So what's happening, Bob, is the Kings have got them playing their style of basketball. The Jazz, I know John Stockton's thinking, patience, guys, slow it down. We got to run some shot clock to keep these guys on defense.
10 on the shot clock. Open man inside. Shannon Anderson fouled by Scott Pollard. After the loose ball, Shannon Anderson showing his speed on the open court basket to cut even further into the lead. Kings 41, Jazz 34. Back in a moment.
Look, I say we just go over there.
No, let's just play it cool.
Will you come on? They're looking at us.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, let's go over there. But I get the one with the Michelob Light.
How come I always get the ugly one?
There's ordinary beer. Then there's the smooth, refreshing taste of Michelob Light. Beer or Michelob?
Are you two sisters?
If you've never experienced the thrill of Mach 3, it's wake-up time. Introducing Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple-blade shaving system. 3 blades positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3, so you don't have to shave over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
A picture is worth 1,000 words. Enough said. Watch 3 hours of WCW Monday Nitro, Monday nights at 8 on TNT. Seeing is believing.
And so the detective said the butler didn't do it. It was... My book! Let's go, Rick. Where's that page? I gotta finish my book. Hello, sir. Can you please tell me how your book ends? No! Now I'll never know. Brick! Oh, Brick, look what I've got. Good dog.
Last regular season game between these two teams was stretched to overtime. There was some physical play in that game, too. Ostertag clotheslining Divac. Ejected from the game. This was on April 13th in the last regular season game that was played in Sacramento. So we've seen some controversial plays and some physical plays in this game tonight. Right now, Ostertag on the bench for Utah, carrying 2 personal fouls. The update on the game: 6:27 to go in the half. Kings 41, Jazz 34. Shandon Anderson at the free throw line. Cuts that lead to 6. Kings had led by 13. Here's a final, by the way. Atlanta takes a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference first round over Detroit, 89-69 at the Georgia Dome. That series now goes to the Palace in suburban Detroit. And earlier tonight, Miami evened the Knicks series, 83-73. Interviews from that game coming up at halftime. Jason Williams, Stockton went down. Jason didn't take a shot.
That's surprising. I thought for sure he had that shot.
C-Web inside. Excellent defense by Malone. Jazz could cut it to 3 or better on this possession with 6 to go in the first half. Ten on the shot clock. Lob inside as Stojakovic was fronting Anderson. Fuller goes to the left hand. Loose ball to Weber. Stojakovic, just 21 years old, remember. He's a little bit shell-shocked from his first playoff experience. Weber with 9 on the shot clock. So going to take the pull-up jumper, tried the glass. Anderson rebound. Kings out of sync offensively. This is getting to be more and more of a Utah game here in the closing minutes of the first half. 5:15 to go. Shot clock to 8. Jason Williams on Stockton. Pick and roll Malone. Stockton flips it to Malone. 2 seconds. 1 second over Divac. Would have counted. No, they're saying loose ball foul. And it's going to be on Todd Fuller, his second. Loose ball foul, and that's over the limit for Utah, so we'll be shooting free throws for the final 5 minutes of this half. There are the scores I told you about just a moment ago. New York losing to Miami 83-73 in the game you saw earlier on TBS. Game 3 will be Wednesday at 8 on TNT. And here is a final from TNT. By the way, the quadruple header tonight, doubleheader on TBS and TNT. Atlanta takes a 2-0 lead over Detroit, 89-69. Game 3, 7 o'clock Eastern on TBS on Wednesday. Chris Webber, a notoriously poor free throw shooter. Webber only shooting 45% from the free throw line. Explain that to me, a talented player as he is.
Well, when you watch the way he shoots his free throw, mechanically, it's not a great-looking shot. He holds it way back over the top of his head, and look, very little backline rotation. Doesn't use his knees very much, and bend his legs either.
Misses them both. Kings remain in the lead by 6, 41-36. Malone off the glass. The lead now cut to 3. It was 5 points, cut to 3, 41-38, 4:42 to go first half. Utah on a 10-0 run.
The key here is an emotional run by the Kings. Obviously, the Jazz weathering that storm. Can they keep it up? It's going to be the key.
Williams, Maxwell missing, Fuller rebounding. Isley inside Malone, stepped inside of Divac, 41-40. Jazz with a full frontal assault. 12-0 run. Malone has 15 points. Timeout, Sacramento.
Malone down on the low side. Watch this pick by John Stockton. Just strong. Malone finds a little spot. Vlade gets caught on the opposite side, then try to jerk a foul out of the refs. No doing.
The location of the entry pass. We'll be right back.
Considering how well it handles the elements under the road, it's no surprise that our newest 4x4 performs so well on the road. Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, now with an exclusive quadricoil suspension and advanced steering system for a more agile, responsive ride on any surface. The all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most capable sport utility ever.
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
No multi-million-dollar contracts. No victory laps. Not even a winner's circle. But if you think these weekend warriors who run the Score Desert Championship Series take anything for granted, think again. Which is exactly why they run with the Duralast battery from AutoZone. A battery so tough, so dependable, we back it with a 2-year free replacement guarantee. The next time you hit the road, don't settle for anything less.
The NBA playoffs on TBS, brought to you by the more than 2,700 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
Welcome back to Utah. Salt Lake City. It's been beautiful weather here today. And how about this for location for basketball?
I tell you what, it's not the kind of scenery I had when I was growing up trying to learn how to play basketball.
The Jazz on a 12-0 run in the last 4:31. Anderson with 6, Malone with 4. And Reggie, why have the Kings been unable to get a good shot here?
Well, in this particular game, it's all been about their defense. Stopping the Jazz in the first quarter gave them the ability to get some easy baskets in the transition. The first quarter, they got 5 fast break points. In the second quarter so far, no fast break points because of no defense on the other end.
That was a wide-open shot by Divac. He did not hit it. A chance for the Jazz to take the lead. 3:43 to go in the half.
And Bob, the Jazz are so steady. You know that their game is not going to change, and they're going to eventually get their tempo and their rhythm down, and that's what's happening right here. The Kings have to do some more things, maybe press-wise, to get the tempo back up in their favor.
Malone had to put it up quickly. Only 1 second remaining on the shot clock. Kings hold on to that slim 1-point lead. Major pick from Weber. Stockton goes down. There will be those who say it was a flop. Malone with the rebound. Maxwell down. Jazz running. Look at the pass from Stockton. Foul before the basket on Shandon Anderson. And here is Stockton getting leveled by Chris Weber.
And it is the playoffs right here. I tell you what, that looked like a pretty solid pick. He didn't throw his elbow, but he certainly didn't take it away either. He just stood his ground and let Stockton have it. Stockton, a little bit of a sucking on his lip, like he got like...
Yeah, and look at the mouse right below his left eye. A bruise on his cheekbone from that. Tomorrow night on TBS, first of all, we'll have on TNT, we'll have Suns and Blazers, 76ers Magic on TBS, Bucks Pacers, Timberwolves Spurs, Rockets Lakers tomorrow on Turner Sports.
Oh, good hustle. Corliss outworking the lot of them at half court, getting the ball over to Maxwell. Nice play.
43-40 Kings, 2:57 to go in the half. Isley and Stockton both on the floor with Malone, Fuller, and Shandon Anderson. How did Isley get that pass in there? You talk about learning from Stockton. We have a jump ball, and look out. Malone and Divac. Joey Crawford stepping in the middle. Just more physicality in this ball game.
A lot of banging down on the inside. Look at this action between the two big fellas.
Vlade Divac, remember, as we told you earlier, Vlade, because of what's going on so much in Yugoslavia and his worrying about his parents, had only 3 hours sleep last night. Outlet to Jason Williams with a lay-in, and the Kings rebuild it to 45-40. My point is that Vlade Divac is playing on only about 3 hours sleep last night. In the 48 days of the bombing, he's been losing sleep every night because of the time difference. That's when Vlade tries to communicate with his parents in Serbia and his brother who's in the Army and is stationed in Belgrade. Malone from long range. Kings by 3. Carl has 17. Technical foul on Vlade.
Well, right now, everybody, Bob, is crying about the physical play. Just shut up and play basketball. John Stockton had his elbow in Vlade's face on that pick. Vlade didn't like it. Maxwell comes to Vlade's aid and really was yelling with him, not for anything that he did. Right there, Maxwell is going, oh, I can't believe they called a technical on me.
Isley knocks it down. It is a 2-point Kings lead. So we're talking about Vlade. You can see in his eyes how little sleep he had. And look at this. At 2:30 in the morning, he phones his parents after he emails his brother in the Army, goes to bed at 4 a.m. This is just last night. Got up at 7:30 this morning. Maxwell driving, draws the foul. Maxwell a little slow to get up. Here's another look at this. And this goes on. This was last night's schedule for Vlade, but this goes on virtually every night for Vlade Divac, he wears a black armband, by the way, during the games, and as he says, it's in support of both you see it on his left arm, both the Serbs and the ethnic Albanians. He says he loves the people there, supports them. He is angry, of course, about the bombing and about the political leadership, even both sides, as far as Vlade Divac feels about it.
And even though his numbers have gone up since the bombing started, Bob, and he really told us that this is his only escape. This is when he really can concentrate and get away from it while he's playing basketball.
And after the game, Vlade told me this morning, after the game, the first thing on his mind when he goes into the locker room is to find out if his parents are still alive. Now, you would say, does he have to worry about them that much? Yes. There was NATO bombing of a bridge half a mile from his parents' home on the Kosovo-Serbian border. Shrapnel hit the house and broke out all the windows. That's how close his mom and dad are there. His Yugoslavian friend, who's also Serbian, is Peja Stojakovic. He and Vlade Divac have become very close. Vlade spends a lot of time at the Stojakovic house, which is in the suburbs of Sacramento, and Stojakovic's dad lives with him there. And how about this story? Stojakovic's father got out of Belgrade just coincidentally only 2 days before the bombing began. He does have some distant relatives who are still in Serbia. Brings the war very close to home when you see the faces and the stress on these two young men.
Bob, we'd be remiss to say if we didn't, that really puts things in perspective when you're talking about a basketball game and who's winning and losing.
2 minutes to go in the half. Kings winning here by 4. Inside Anderson. Looks like he was fouled by Jason Williams. No call. Williams picks up the ball with a play call. Minute 51 to go. Kings led by 13. Jazz cut it to 1. Kings have come back since then.
Bob, the referees have let this game go, and it's a very physical ball game, but there is so much slapping going on and so much bumping that if they called every one of them, we never would get this game underway.
Corliss Williamson now with 5 points. Kings have rebuilt the lead to 6 with a minute and a half to go. Stockton and Malone working on the left side. How many times have we seen that? Stockton was left very alone. Jason Williams stepped back. Stockton will always take that pull-up jumper. John has 5 points and 6 assists. Maxwell has it stripped into the hands of Weber, however. Divac will pull up for the 15-footer. Not this time. Williamson missed the rebound. Stockton got it. Look at him looking at the court. What a floor general. Is there ever been better? Maybe Magic Johnson with vision on the court.
Well, a lot of that had to do with his size. Magic being 6'9", being able to see angles that nobody else can see. But John is amazing in how he surveys and makes things happen for his players on the floor.
Look at this. He kept at it and finally stripped the ball from Weber. Anderson fouled as he tried to get the lay-in. John Stockton just kept working and finally stripped the ball. That was 2 fouls, by the way, on Divac.
And the word here is just relentless. John Stockton never stops playing, never stops going after the ball. And look at the Utah Jazz sharing the rock, getting it to Shandon Anderson for the potential 2.
Coming up on the AT&T Halftime Report, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and Bill Laimbeer. You want to talk physical, talk bad boys, and Bill Laimbeer. Scores and highlights from tonight's first-round action. Particularly, we have interviews from that New York-Miami series where the Miami Heat evened it at 1-1 with their 83-73 victory earlier tonight.
Well, you're talking about a cheap shot guy, Bill Laimbeer. Oh, I can say that about Bill. We go back to high school.
Remember, he'll have last word at halftime.
Of course, but we go back way to high school. He's been doing that since his old days at Palos Verdes in California.
49-47, Kings by 2. Williams just decided on the long-range 3. He really struggled. He was 3 of 8 from three-point range in game number 1. Final shot, 49-47. Crowd on their feet. Jazz with a chance to tie. Stockton, Malone. Stockton thinks twice, spins around, kicks. Isley, 4 seconds. Isley for the lead, for the tie. It's tied, 49-49. But wait, 1 second. Weber can't get to it. Good grief, 1.6 seconds. Game is tied, 49-49. 22nd timeout called by Utah. They've got a shot at putting the ball up yet again to take the lead at the half. Wow, this has been a beautiful half.
It's been a very strong half.
Maybe not beautiful.
No, not beautiful in the sense of executing and those type of, I'm talking about competitiveness, athleticism, physicality, all the things that we know playoff basketball is all about, and the Kings learned a great lesson by getting blown out in game 1, Bob.
We talked about the battle-tested teachers giving the new kids on the block a lesson, and apparently it's been relatively well learned. Jerry Sloan went through a light practice with his team yesterday, gave them some time to rest their aging legs. However, on the other hand, Rick Adelman put his team through 3 hours of film viewing and practicing, and he said we needed the 3-on-3, the 1-on-1 drills.
And I think from a structure standpoint, it is showing up in this game. They're doing a good job in the structure.
Foster wide open. Jazz lead at the half. What a comeback. Jazz outscore the Kings 27-18 in the second period. Utah comes back from a 13-point deficit to take the lead 51-49 at the half. It ought to be a whale of a second half. There's some tempers and bad blood on the court here at the Delta Center tonight.
Hey, I'll race you across.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that rope swing's still here.
These are the days. Fetzer days. Enjoy the wine.
This must be your lucky day, Susie. My last one.
Thank you.
Sorry, Slugger. Sold out. Better luck next time.
reason for coming to Home Depot, number one, is me.
Ooh, did I get you?
I use most of the equipment here myself. I can't think of any piece of power equipment here I don't use.
Don't worry, I like the tree.
So therefore, I feel comfortable talking to you, the customer, and telling you what you should be using. I have everything that you're going to need, no matter what size yard that you're taking care of.
Toro, Scott's, Black & Decker, Honda, Hoolan, Longboy.
This is my candy store. I got all my tools.
Hi, come on in. Hey, it's good to see you.
How are you?
These are the days.
Something smells great.
Fetzer days. Enjoy the wine.
The AT&T Halftime Report is brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
They have played 24 minutes at the Delta Center here on TBS. And the Utah Jazz getting the late three-pointer out of Greg Foster to break a 49-all tie and take a three-point lead to the locker room. Right now on TNT, this is a live look at Portland. And the Blazers and the Suns playing game 2 after Portland at home won the first game of that series. Welcome to the AT&T Halftime Report. Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Bill Lambier with you. Sacramento Kings putting a much better effort together tonight, Kenny.
Great effort tonight. They stumbled down the stretch of the second quarter, but they have to be happy with the effort. And I think it stemmed from Jason Williams. He was able to just get them out early, get some easy transition basket. Here you have a steal by Vlade. He saves the ball. Instead of dribbling it up, he pitches up. Great overhead pass. Corliss Williamson is able to come in, finish the play. That's the kind of basketball you have to play against Utah Jazz because you're not going to out-execute them.
The mailman has 17 at the half to lead Utah. Meantime, Reggie Theus made a reference late in the half to some kind of a background with Bill Lambier. Please,
the
could
California
you
kids.
illuminate us, would you, Bill?
We had some great battles when we were in high school. We were in the same league, and we traded wins, and we actually talked about going to college together, but he wanted to stay out there with all the Hollywood types and look real sweet and everything, and I wasn't that way.
Down memory lane with Bill Lambier. Let's go to earlier tonight, highlights of the game between the Knicks and the Heat. And there we see Gertrude Gurley-Furnari, who's never missed a Miami game. And here we see P.J. Brown to Zoe for the dunk. And then Jeff Van Gundy watches Mourning do some damage from the outside. Zoe over Patrick Ewing at 17 points in the half. The Knicks, though, would rally, make a game of it in the third period as LJ goes to work off the window. But Dan Marley making a contribution that was missing in game 1. When he did not hit from the outside, hit a couple of threes tonight. The Heat win at 83-73. They tie the series up and go back to New York for game 3. Alonzo Mourning getting it done for the second straight game, this time in a winning effort.
Collectively, we got the job done. You know, everybody came in, everybody has a role, and they played that role to a T this evening. Even though when they made their charge, we knew they had a run in them. We kept our composure, made the right plays defensively and offensively, and that was the biggest key. Just stay with our game and made the right plays down the stretch.
So, Bill, which team feels better going back to New York now with the series 1-1?
Well, I think they both think they can win the series. I think Miami got the win they needed. The Knicks stole one in the first game, and everybody's looking for an outstanding rough-and-tumble series now.
It has been rough and tumble, should continue to be when they resume that series in New York. There is news out of Charlotte tonight, folks, and it comes to us via Peter Vesey, who will be with us tomorrow night. Peter says the Hornets have come to contract terms with head coach Paul Silas. It's a 4-year deal, 3 years guaranteed, for $1.5 million a year. Silas led the Hornets to a record of 22-13 after taking over for Dave Cowens in Charlotte. When we come back, the story from the Georgia Dome tonight. Would the Hawks soar to a 2-zip lead over Bill's old team?
To help you remember 10-10-3-4-5 long distance, we're here with grades 3, 4, and 5 of Center Grove School. With 10-10-3-4-5, calls are always 10 cents a minute, anytime, any day. No minimum talk time and no monthly fee. So, what's that number?
10-10-3-4-5.
Excellent. You're promoted. 10-10-3-4-5, the simple way to save on long distance.
Dial 10-10-3-4-5 today.
Mickey D's.
Now, who has the rhythm of your morning? Did somebody say McDonald's?
It's another beautiful day.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Don't lose it to seasonal allergies. Take control.
And don't it feel good?
Talk to your doctor about Claritin. Just one Claritin tablet daily brings you 24 hours of non-drowsy relief from seasonal allergy symptoms. Claritin has a low occurrence of side effects such as headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth, similar to sugar pill.
Walking on sunshine.
Don't lose a single day. Take clear control. Take Claritin.
NAPA application engineered brakes can stop you 20 feet shorter than ordinary brakes. That's important. Because you can't always count on there being 20 extra feet of road when you need it. NAPA, over 200,000 parts, and every one's important.
Welcome back to the AT&T Halftime Report. Georgia Dome tonight, Game 2 between the Pistons and the Hawks. Chris Crawford hits the deck early, shoulder sprain, left and would not return. He's been great with Alan Henderson kind of banged up this year. Dikembe Mutombo, 28 points and 13 rebounds, hit 13 out of 14. Jerry Stackhouse trying to keep the Pistons in this thing. In fact, they led by 1 at the half, but then Steve Smith began to assert himself, hitting a three-pointer and turning and hitting another three-pointer. Had 21 on the night. They open up a huge lead, and for the second straight game, they beat the Pistons by 20, this time 89-69. Pistons head coach Alvin Gentry not in a very good mood.
You know, the people of Detroit should not have to see a team put that kind of effort out there. Not in the playoffs or not in the regular season, not in the preseason. That was not good basketball. We did not compete. As a team, we were awful. And there's no excuses. I mean, there's no excuses, and everybody got to take blame. Take as much blame as the players.
Well, the question now, how do the players, and speaking from a player's perspective, how do you respond when the coach goes off?
Well, I think the problem was after Game 1, they didn't make any adjustments. They talked about that they didn't play their team game. They weren't going to make any adjustments. They didn't. They lost, same result.
You had a game plan that they had coming in. And as a player, if you're on the court and you're playing your game plan, you think to perfection. You look up at the score and you're still down 10. It knocks all of the energy out of you, and that's what you saw, a lack of effort, because they figured that they were playing the best they could, and they were still down 10 points.
Their season is on the brink Wednesday on TBS at 7 o'clock Eastern time in Game 3 of that series. Back to wrap things up on the AT&T Halftime Report in just a second. Jason Williams of the Sacramento Kings has 9 first-half points. Check out this nice catch and lay. Sacramento right in there.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, I recommend Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from ferocious odor and wetness that glides on clear with no flaky white stuff.
How far is the female?
A good 70 yards, mate. I've made longer passes than that before. Right Guard Clear Gel and Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
There's something special about the folks who work at AutoZone. The fact that they know more than a thing or two about looking up parts and solving problems. Their willingness to go the extra mile. And their belief in doing what's right. So it's no wonder why millions of customers turn to us each week for help in getting back on the road. Because working at AutoZone means taking pride in taking care of people.
It's Saturday night. Do you know what your money's doing? Janice does. Janice is working the phones, checking up on an investment in a new restaurant chain. Every Saturday night, Janice calls 20 or 30 of them in different states to make sure they're as busy as they projected. Janice keeps the heat on a company even after the money's invested. Is your money pushing the right buttons? Get there. Janice Mutual Funds.
Introducing chicken salad at Subway. Try our chicken salad sub. Tender all-white meat chicken salad with your choice of fresh veggies handmade right in front of you. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
Welcome back to the AT&T Halftime Report. On TBS, the third quarter coming up between Utah and Sacramento. It's a 2-point game. They are in a timeout right now in Portland. There you see one of our fine graphics on TNT describing how Portland is out to a 22-7 lead over the Phoenix Suns. Mike Dunleavy's guys, you can turn to TNT and catch that game. They're in the first quarter, even as we speak. At the conclusion of tonight's 4 games, get a complete wrap-up on TNT's Inside the NBA, hosted by Bob Lorenz, who is joined tonight by Golden State's Terry Cummings and Raptors head coach Butch Carter. Tomorrow night, 4 more games. Here's what we got on TBS. The Sixers and the Magic starting at 7 o'clock Eastern, followed by the Bucks and the Indiana Pacers. On TNT, Minnesota and San Antonio. And then it's the Rockets and the Lake Show.
The AT&T Halftime Report was brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
It knows 2 speeds. Stop and go. It just beat a series of the toughest stop-and-go driving tests in the world, and it's brand new. Go ahead. Guess. You have 4.3 seconds. Introducing Pennzoil with new Pure Base. Stop. Go. Pennzoil.
Would you like to make $10, $20, even $30,000 more a month?
I did.
You see? I have created an astounding, foolproof money-making method.
Thanks to you, I made 10 grand in one day.
Wow. It's easy. Simply send me $50 for my book, How to Get People to Send You $50 for a Book.
It's time for E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online.
CN8, connected to your world.
We're your connection to top issues. If you care about it, we're talking about it on It's Your Call.
We're your sports fix. Highlights, stats, interviews, and your calls nightly on Sports Talk.
We're the connection to help make your family's life easier, happier, and healthier on Family Talk.
We're your connection to the best sports, from your kids' high school games to the hottest teams around the region.
We're connected to your world. We're CN8.
Unparalleled in the art of Portuguese cuisine, Pescador Restaurant invites you to its exquisite Portuguese-Spanish experience. Tempting entrees prepared to perfection have critics saying, "We look forward to returning to Pescador. The food is terrific, and the best authentic Portuguese cuisine in New Jersey." Generous portions and fresh seafood are just some of the secrets behind Pescador's savory menu.
Hi, I'm Manny Martins, inviting you to a Portuguese-Spanish dining experience of a lifetime.
Pescador Restaurant, 1 Passaic Street in Garfield.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use and dissemination of this telecast, or the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Back at the Delta Center, notice all those empty seats right now. The people haven't left. They're just out taking a deep breath. It was a frenzied first half. Utah took the lead on a last-second shot by Greg Foster. But stats don't tell the story. Physical play and playoff intensity.
And, Bob, I am loving this right there. Everybody getting into the act. Physicality all over the place. You can't go in the paint without getting hit. And then you got a little trash talking going along with it. But I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun watching the first half for the Kings. They got to keep this intensity level up. For the Jazz, they got to keep this game under control right there. Look at John Stockton taking one from Chris Webber. And then Vlade Divac and Carl, they get locked up. Vlade says, "Hey, man." And the referee says, "Get back, dude." Everybody getting into it, man. Oh, wow.
The statistical story is that the Kings led by 13. The Jazz came back to take the lead right on the last-second shot by Foster. And the real numbers came from the Jazz bench, outscoring the Kings bench 21-7. Malone had 17 points. Weber and Divac both played well offensively. And let's look at the stat story. Field goal percentage here, 51 and 48% here tonight. It was 36-56 for the whole game in game one. And rebounding, Jazz with another another big lead.
Well, I like the fact that the Kings took game one personal and came out tonight with a lot of vigor, with some intensity level. And, of course, for the Kings, if they're putting it in the hole, they can play with anybody in this league because they have that type of potency offensively.
Karl Malone in the first half had 17 points to go with his 6 rebounds, only 1 assist, and I say only, he had 9 in game number 1. Chris Webber, on the other hand, pretty good first half. Webber had 13 points. However, most of his points came in the first quarter. He picked up 2 personal fouls, had to ride the bench a little bit longer. Vlade Divac finished the half with 11 points and 3 rebounds. Nobody with more than 3 rebounds for the Kings. 6 boards for Karl Malone. Let's go quickly now to Cheryl Miller. Cheryl.
Well, Bob, obviously, Coach Adelman out of this halftime was very pleased defensively with setting the tone in the first half. But offensively, he was a little concerned that the team had their lapses. But he feels that the main key coming out in the second half is they got to make sure they withstand any type of spurt by the Utah Jazz.
And they can be sure they're going to see some spurts. 51-49 Jazz. Kings open with the ball. Webber going down inside. There's that little jump hook that he loves to rely on. And that may be the first time I've seen that in this game here tonight. It's tied at 51.
Well, what that did is immediately gets the crowd out of the game. Right now, the momentum shifts after the Jazz had such a nice close of the first half.
Stockton on the baseline. Curl comes into the paint, gets it from Malone. It's 53-51 Utah. John Stockton at the half had 4 points. 5 points to go with his 4 assists. Ostertag gets the rebound off the Kings' miss.
Jason Williams has got to turn that corner and ride it into the lane a little bit further. Can't always settle for that jumper. That's big. Brian Russell from the deep in the corner.
Yeah, that's a 2. He shot it over Corliss Williamson, and now the Jazz have built a 4-point lead in this game. They did lead early, 6-2. That was their biggest lead, and they match it here. Abdul Wahed at 6'6", gets inside, can't shoot it. They'll go right back to Corliss Williamson. His turnaround will fall. Good pass from Chris Webber. And speaking of Chris Webber in passing, it is one of the highlights of his game, often overlooked.
And I agree with you, Bob, but right there, again, the Kings got away with a 3-second call. You pass it in, pass it out, and pass it back in. There's got to be 3 seconds.
Stockton blew by Jason Williams like he was nailed to the floor. Karl Malone tips in the offensive board. Jazz back by 4. Once again, Rick Adelman talking about Jason Williams. He says Jason Williams has all kinds of talent. He has been forced to be a starter as a rookie. He needed time to sit on the bench and watch a mentor. Didn't have it. Learning under pressure. Oh, he's got the talent, though. The bounce pass to Vlade Divac. Divac is fouled by Jeff Hornacek. And Jason Williams, by the way, you've heard that a lot, because he plays such exciting basketball, some of the black players kind of tabbed him white chocolate. That's not been really popular. He says he doesn't mind it, but not nuts about it. The nickname he loves, and the one he likes to be called, and that's what the team usually refers to him as, is J-Will. And he likes that because of C. Webb. Who said, by the way, Chris Webber said in an interview just the other day, he says, by the way, you think Jason Williams brought all those moves, the behind the back, between the legs, the no look? I taught him all of it this year. Chris Webber, quote.
Now I guess I'm going to have to call you Bob in, huh?
Yes, you are. Okay. How about B. Neal?
B. Neal.
Okay.
B. Neal.
Stockton. Russell, 9 on the shot clock. Hornacek. Over a flailing Abdul Wahed, and it's 59-54. Jazz by 5. 9:35 to go in the third. Jason Williams tried to go with his finger roll fancies. Had it blocked. Malone on the break. It won't fall. Jason Williams, pass stolen. Russell. Divac rebound, loose ball. What a ball game. This is like volleyball with a hoop. Ryan Russell finally knocks it down. The crowd is set down maybe 10 minutes during this game. Jazz by 5.
It's keeping us on the end of our seat. Oh, my. It ain't pretty, but it is fun.
Jason Williams gets it inside and a nice look to Abdul Wahed. Tariq Abdul Wahed. 9.3 points, 3.8 rebounds this year. Second year out of San Jose State. He was a #1 draft choice, 11th pick in '97. Excellent defensive player. Whistle away from the ball by Joey Crawford.
Jason Williams trying to stop John Stockton from making his pick so clean cut, trying to make him veer away and really chesting him up, but you can't bump. You got to stand your ground and grind it out.
Hornacek got inside of Abdul-Wahed to get the pass. The loose ball comes out to Jason Williams. Jazz up 61-56. Crossover. Williams. C-Web from J-Will to Abdul-Wahed, who draws the foul. Hornacek has 3.
And B. Neal, when you see Jason Williams trying to stop John Stockton down in the middle of the court, John Stockton getting the ball up, and actually the Kings, really tough defense on that one. A little bit different from the play I was talking about, but I tell you what, the physical play by Jason Williams and John Stockton, we're going to have to keep an eye on it because those two guys are going chest to chest.
And you got to think that even though Stockton will no doubt end up with the edge because of his, well, all-pro abilities, Jason Williams learning a great deal in this playoff series. Another hard foul. And it's going to be on Chris Webber. That'll be 3. Webber picked up 2 early fouls, then played the rest of the half without one. Now gets one about halfway through the third period.
Well, Chris Webber always worried about the foul right there. Goes up for it, and I tell you what, unless they called it on the body contact, his arms were nowhere near Karl Malone, and I thought C-Web was right in Karl swinging his off arm to try to draw the contact.
Well, we know that Karl will use the bows.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, just ask Joe Klein. what was it, 21 stitches, 30 stitches, somewhere in that neighborhood. Recent game with Karl, and of course Malone as well. When he goes in, his elbows are high. He's always had them that way, and yeah, I guess you just have to live with it. He's a physical, as Jerry Sloan said, our most physical player on the Utah Jazz, with several physical players.
And Bob, when you ask him about being physical and then does he throw cheap shots, he says everybody in the league knows how I play. Because I would never come out and try to hurt somebody, but I lead with my elbows, and when I drive to the bucket, I lead with my knee. They know that.
He's leading with his scoring tonight, 21 points halfway through the third period. He had 21 points in only 3 periods of play in game 1. Jason Williams hits the triple coming off the screen. It is 63-61, Jazz by 2.
Jason Williams finding the range. Scissor kick, jump shot, nice.
Thought you would like it.
Oh, yeah.
John Stockton now trying to be, Williams trying to defend Stockton. 7 on the shot clock, by the way. Stockton gets past him, goes to the baseline for the jumper. Long rebound, Corliss Williamson. Chance for the Kings to tie. Jazz took the lead by 2 on a Foster jumper at the buzzer at the end of the half, then built this lead to 5 points. Now it's down to 2. Shot clock at 8. Jason Williams from Divac. Abdul-Wahed, long range. That was a 2. He shot it really long range. Back come the Jazz and Stockton, playing like a young man in these first 2 games. Inside to Malone. Webber with a rebound. Malone down. No whistle. They're letting them play here tonight at the Delta Center. No look. Divac. Divac with a nice interior pass to Williamson, blocked by Ostertag. He had 6 in game 1. Russell, nobody there, and Russell with the throwdown. 65-61 Jazz. That all started with the Ostertag block.
Ostertag patrolling the back line. He's very good at giving help and blocking shots right here on the help defense on Corliss Williamson. Nice block, and then, of course, that starts a nice break. Kings slow in transition. Brian Russell knows how to finish it. The Jazz up by 4. We'll be right back.
It starts with a whisper.
And we're going to cover the whole area
Some
today.
heed the call, but it speaks to all of us. It's about our towns, our cities, our lives. It's about what we can do for tomorrow. It's about pitching in, giving back, and getting it done. And soon that whisper will become a chorus, and its voice will be heard. We will make a difference. Volunteer to improve your community.
Among the vast array of transportation options, some of the greatest can be found here. The Chrysler and Plymouth minivans. From the luxurious Chrysler Town & Country to Voyager, America's lowest priced minivan with air and room for 7. We've got America's largest choice of minivans. Chrysler. We made the minivan what it is today. Now get $1,000 cash allowance or 1.9% APR on any Chrysler minivan.
Pitchers want to be hitters. That's not American.
Why would pitchers want to hit?
Everybody wants to be a hitter.
50% of pitching is hitting anyway.
What can I say? A low ERA just isn't that sexy.
Pitchers want to be hitters, huh? Another shameless attempt by Nike to sell more sneakers.
I don't want to say anything because they're still pitchers.
The NBA playoffs on TBS. Brought to you by Fannie Mae Foundation. Showing America a new way home. By Chrysler. Engineered to be great cars. And by Nike.
Karl Malone, 21.7 boards tonight. Reggie, we were talking about Karl and his high elbows. Look back with us in a game against Phoenix. Here is Karl going in. Left elbow. Joe Klein got 30 stitches out of this. You see Joe coming at Karl here. Karl was heavily criticized for that elbow, 30 stitches on Klein.
And anybody who knows basketball knows that that is the way you lead turning to the bucket. I don't think that was a cheap shot at all for Karl Malone. And if Joe Klein really thought it was, he should have did a lot more than just push Karl in the chest.
Divac with patience in the double team waited for Jason Williams to come around the screen and drain the three. Kings now trail it by a point. Jason's third triple here tonight. 6:15 to go in the third period. Malone decided to pull up for the jumper over Weber. Weber had him defended from lane penetration, but Karl, as Jerry Sloan says, or as Rick Adelman said, Karl has become a jump shooter. I had a darn good one. Divac isolated against Ostertag. Oh, what a battle these two have had this year. The hook goes down for Vlade. It's a one-point Jazz lead now, and Divac has 14 points.
You know, Bob, you talk about Karl Malone and his ability to shoot from the perimeter. Back in the early days, he wanted that low post block so much, but he's so confident in his game now. If you give him a little bit of something down low, he just steps out and uses his perimeter game. That's his maturity and evolving.
Wahed was grabbed by Russell. No foul. He went to the hoop. The shot was blocked. Back comes Utah and Brian Russell. He's called for a carry.
Ostertag's job is not to block everything, but certainly change it. But when he can get him, it really helps his team. Nice block, kept it in play off the backboard. Look at the timing. Sweet.
Ostertag with 3 blocks tonight, had 6 in game number 1. Average 2.73 on the year among the league leaders. Wahed's short jumper. Very short. Jazz by 1. 5 minutes to go in the period. Hornacek all alone. Penetrated. How about that block? That came from Abdul Wahed. 6'6" long arms. Jason Williams behind the back. Weber, trailer, Williamson. Wow!
Oh, the young fella got a little flavor in his game.
Kings take the lead back 68-67. This is the kind of game we saw, you and I, April 13th at Sacramento in that overtime. End to end, both teams. Stockton inside draws the foul. Take a look at Jason as we have a foul call.
Take a look at Jason Williams giving it up with a no-look behind the back, and then Chris Webber feeling it, giving it over to Corliss Williamson to finish the game. But look at that. Off the no-look, on the money, passing 3 times on the inside. That's good team basketball. I love to see the Kings do this.
C-Web to Jay Will. Look at this, 15, 3 rebounds, only 2 assists. Now this is a knock on him as the rookie. He had only 2 assists in all of game number 1. He is a shoot-first point guard at this point. He does make great passes. And the last time, even though he made a great pass, C-Web took the extra pass, which takes an assist away from him. But everybody says Jason Williams has to get more teammates involved on his penetration.
Agreed. And the biggest thing is that he has to do a better job with half-court penetration. On the fast break, a lot of times the ball's put on the floor. But in the half-court situation, he could do a lot more penetrating instead of taking a lot of long jump shots.
Corliss Williams' shot was bothered. Utah back, tied at 68. Malone on the run. He draws the foul. Let's have another look at Jason Williams, this exciting rookie, from a different angle this time.
Well, you know, he always loves the show. And this is his kind of game. This is what he lives for right there. And, of course, C. Webb could have laid that up, would have gave him his third assist. But right there, I think that's good sharing the basketball by the Sacramento Kings.
And he's just, you see that Jay Will is just a casual little yawn there.
You know what's funny about him? I said, you know, what does this game mean to you? He said, listen, I don't care about a lot of things. And I don't know if we can win this series, but I sure would like to mess it up for those guys.
Like the attitude. Carlo 24-7 here tonight. Playoff action on TNT and TBS. We're just getting started with the 1999 playoffs. The shortened season proved to be really exciting. A lot of teams were still competing for playoff positioning and spots at the end of the 50-game season. And now we've already had some major upsets in first-round play, like the Knicks getting the Heat in Game 1. Heat got them back tonight, and that series is tied at 1. Weber throws up a wild shot, doesn't fall now. Jazz up by 2, 3:51 to go in the period. Isley fumbles it away. Jason Williams tried to dribble it between the legs of Russell, hit his legs, and turned it over. Now, Jeff Hornacek, the veteran, will slow it down, bring some calmness, and go into the half-court set for the Jazz, and they're as good as anybody at this. Whistle away from the ball, tooted by Tom Washington. It's on Corliss Williamson, his third. Check team fouls. Already, the Kings are in the penalty with 3:31 to go, and only 2 team fouls on the Jazz.
Well, I know one thing. In the playoffs, especially when you're the 6th, 7th, or 8th seed going against the top of the league, respect is a big factor. And no matter what has happened in Game 1, I know the Jazz have a lot more respect for the Kings now.
Tomorrow night on TBS at 7, Philadelphia at Orlando in Game 2, followed at 9:30 by Milwaukee and Indiana Game 2. Then on TNT, 8 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota at San Antonio Game 2, followed by at 10:30 p.m. Houston and the Lakers. And how about the Houston-Lakers game yesterday and the great block at the end of the game by Shaquille O'Neal?
Just tremendous. It seems like they're trying to get it together. They got so much talent at the end of the season. Didn't know what the Lakers were going to do, but it seems like they've got their stuff together. They're playing good basketball.
Jazz up by 5 again, 3:23 to go in the third. Jazz led by 2 at the half. Weber against Malone. Illegal defense, Utah.
Utah dropping a little bit too low on the zone area. Isley. Out there, Isley down in help position. Not a bad thing when you know you got your other guy isolated, but of course, that's their second one, resulting in a technical foul. Or technical.
Jason Williams with the free throw that rattles in. By the way, saw just a moment ago a shot of Greg Ostertag. Greg Ostertag in Game 1 had his playoff career high of 16, 6 blocks, 9 rebounds. Tonight, Ostertag only 2 points, 5 boards. He does have 3 blocks. Divac getting the best of him offensively tonight. The double team on Vlade. Karl Malone came in and tied him up. I'll tell you what, Ostertag and Malone double teaming you. Even if you're Vlade Divac and his size, you got troubles. It'll be Kings ball, 12 on the shot clock.
Well, you got to try to get rid of that ball quick, but Karl Malone gets a nice hand on it right there.
Weber air ball.
What was that?
Isley, penetration over Jason Williams. Malone to follow.
You got to take advantage of your opportunities. The Kings missing an opportunity to really add to their situation. And, of course, the Jazz not going to make too many mistakes and not going to capitalize on mistakes that the Kings make.
Malone 10 in this quarter, 27 in the game, 2:38 to go in the third period. We've got a holding call, and that foul is going to be on Ostertag, and that'll be his third, as the Jazz lead it by 5 with 2:36 to go, and we have a timeout on the floor from the Delta Center. It has been wild and woolly, but after all, this is the Wild Wild West.
The 1999 Atlanta Braves, all season on the Superstation.
Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Cab forward space and available CD. Dream a little dream of me. The next Neon, a lot more to love.
Question: what car earned the highest rating in government collision tests? Answer: the 99 Saturn SL. Question: what car did Kiplinger's magazine rate first in safety and best in class? Answer: the 99 Saturn SL. Lease the 99 Saturn SL for just $149 a month and only $995 due at signing. Your 99 Saturn SL comes complete with stereo, airbags, and air conditioning, and there's hundreds of Saturns to choose from at New Jersey's largest Saturn retailers. Saturn of Route 23, Saturn of Ramsey.
Talking in the mirror scene is something that a lot of people, I'm sure, do.
I just unburdened myself. I said I'm having a nervous breakdown. I can't act.
If it's not something new about the character or something new about the plot, then I just as soon cut it.
Jazz on a 7-1 run last minute 46. Jason Williams has been involved in virtually everything, including turnovers here. It's part of his game. First one of his 3 threes.
Well, he gets it going. He's feeling good. He's got a lot of flavor, making things happen all over the floor. But just before we left the floor, he ran a one-man weave and got fouled. I mean, he really puts the ball on the floor, and that's one of the things that he's going to learn as time goes on. He has a lot of wasted motion in his game right now. That will calm down, and I tell you, I always say it's much easier to slow a guy down than to speed him up.
Pollard in for Weber. Maxwell on the floor also. Jason Williams, there it is, flying loose again. Another turnover. Malone comes up with a turnover story. Sacramento 11, Utah 8 in this game. And the Jazz have the 5-point lead. Malone past Divac, loose ball, run down this time by Abdul Wahed. It is the loose balls in most cases tonight have gone to the hustling Utah Jazz.
So this is the point in the game where the Kings have to be very critical and very sure of themselves.
Scott Pollard, excellent. Hustle under the boards. Maxwell goes to the reverse. Mad Max.
That's a big basket because the Kings are in jeopardy of losing a little bit of contact, and they're a young team. They don't really know how to come back from being down. So this is tough for them. They got to stay in contact with this game until the fourth quarter, and then anything can happen for them.
10 on the shot clock. Hornacek defended by Vernon Maxwell. Well traveled. Controversial, as you know. Karl Malone's turnaround jumper. Not this time. Rebound, Abdul Wahed. Abdul Wahed brings so much. He doesn't score much. Remember, he's just in his second year from San Jose State. Excellent defender, long arms, and a good guard rebounder. And the Pollard off the glass.
That's a big-time play. Pollard with the left hand off the glass. Tough shot.
Jazz by 1. How about this? Pollard, Ostertag, Jacques Vaughn, all from Kansas. All here in this game tonight. Talk about a good team at Kansas. That also Paul Pierce and Rafe LaFrance was on that team with him. Easy for me to say. With 4 on the shot clock. Russell missing. Maxwell running. Has Wahed on the far wing, but Max is going to take the 3 and drain it. How about it? Mad Max is hitting it tonight. Kings by 2, 76-74. Earlier this season, Maxwell was pouting and complaining about lack of playing time. He said he had a talk with himself and his wife in February. Decided to shut up and play. And oh, what a good idea it's been. He has been a key off the bench for the Sacramento Kings. Had 33 points in an overtime win against Utah when Weber was out with the flu. So Maxwell has been a key player against the Jazz.
Maxwell finding the range. Nice layup here, and then comes back and hits the big jumper. Look at the body control on that play. In transition, he can shoot the long one, guys, pulling up from deep, and he really talks about how his kids and his wife and his mom really stopped him from going overboard. Almost lost his family. He said, Reggie, when you get threatened with losing your family, you got to straighten up. And his father went through something similar, and he didn't want that to happen to him. So he took a lesson from his past and his family and really trying to make amends in this league for his kids.
Vernon Maxwell is in his 10th year now. You remember, of course, he's from Florida, and he has 2 rings when he played with Houston. He was left off the playoff roster with Houston in '95, and that really kind of set him loose again. He was then ended up at Philly, San Antonio, was Orlando and Charlotte, both in the same season, but he really likes it here. He's part of this good family chemistry with the Sacramento Kings.
And he said coming off the bench is big for him because as a veteran, he can see the game from a different perspective and try to give the Kings what they need when he gets in there.
Divac fouled by Thurl Bailey, and remember, they're tied at 76-76. In the regular season, these 2 teams played 3 overtimes out of 3 games. Jazz won 2 of them. Here's the foul on Thurl Bailey in his second go-round with Utah after leaving the Jazz and playing some in Europe, making a lot of the European Euro dollars.
Well, it's always funny to talk about Thurl Bailey. He goes away for 4 years. He comes back, and they're running the same plays.
Interior pass, Divac to Pollard with 3.8 to go in the period. Kings 78-76, and these young kids have really collected themselves. Steal, Barry, fadeaway jumper, doesn't go at the buzzer. Barry with a big steal, and the Kings are back in it. They trailed by 2 at the half. They lead by 2 at the end of 3 periods.
Woo! I tell you what, Bob, it's nice. The Kings at the end of the quarter, 9-2 run.
The marvel of its aerodynamics, the sheer exhilaration of takeoff. It's enough to make an aerospace engineer jealous. Chrysler Concorde. With a 200 horsepower V6 engine that's remarkably powerful, yet fuel efficient. Now, lease a Concorde LX for $289 a month. Chrysler. Engineered to be great cars.
The Coliseum area in the early 90s was dilapidated building, overgrown lots, and basically it wasn't an area where you would want to be caught in. Oh, now they can't believe it's the same area. When people come in, they said, where these houses come from? But is this the same neighborhood? Home ownership is the main ingredient. When you own your own home, it gives you a feeling you belong. You stand for something.
We look at the neighborhood and we look at the house and we feel like we've accomplished something.
The Fannie Mae Foundation.
I'm going to the movies. Hey.
Philips high-definition home theater. It's another beautiful day.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Don't lose it to seasonal allergies. Take control.
And don't it feel good?
Talk to your doctor about Claritin. Just 1 Claritin tablet daily brings you 24 hours of non-drowsy relief from seasonal allergy symptoms. Claritin has a low occurrence of side effects such as headache, drowsiness, fatigue, and dry mouth, similar to sugar pills.
Walking on sunshine.
Don't lose a single day. Take clear control. Take Claritin.
State capital, Salt Lake City in Utah. It couldn't be much closer. Kings 78, Jazz 76, and all 3 of their regular season games during the series have been overtimes. Utah won 2 of those. Sacramento got 1 of them, and we are now at 78-76 here. Here you go on February 15th. Jazz 120-112 overtime. 3:30 at Sacramento. Kings 104-101, and then the game Reggie and I televised on the 13th. 105-100 Utah in overtime. This one 78-76. 11:52 to go in the 4th period. And Utah, Isley tries to get it inside, punched away. Divac saves. Barry on the run.
And Bob,
he pulls up for the 3.
This is
Bang,
the
count it.
pace that the Kings had right here, making them play their style of basketball. In those 3 games, they shot 48% from the 3-point line and really letting it all hang out. They got nothing to lose. Just have fun, baby. It's about respect.
Kings 81-76. Ostertag in the paint. Won't fall. Barry Divac fight for the ball. Barry running the point now. Maxwell at the 2 guard. I told you down the stretch in the 8 games stretch, the final 8 games, John Barry was a key along with Maxwell. Barry brings defense, he brings energy. Stepped out of bounds there, probably an ill-advised pass from Vlade Divac, and he looks over at John and raises his hand and says, my bad. Although I doubt that Vlade would say, my bad.
I'm surprised you even said my bad.
Well, when I'm with you, I slide into that. Weber and Jason Williams, you see on the bench right now. 81-76 Kings. Their bench, Kings bench, outscored 21-7 in the first half. See if they do better here in the second half. Isley with the penetration. Kick out, Thurl Bailey. Ostertag kept it alive. Barry comes away with it. This is what John brings. John brings defense, and he brings hustle, and he scrambles in offense. Well, that's why he's so good off the bench.
And let's not forget that their bench in the past has scored as many as 83 points in one game against the Utah Jazz, matter of fact.
Maxwell missing from 3. Ostertag gets the board. 81-76 Kings, 10 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this ball game. Utah clobbered the Kings by 30 in game 1. Kings learned a lot of lessons. They have the lead in the 4th here in game 2.
And the key, I really believe, was the 3-hour videotape session that Coach Adelman had for the Kings. It really shows them, and unlike a lot of teams, you can learn so much about the Utah Jazz from videotape because they're very methodical, and they burn you on the 2nd and 3rd pass. You have to be able to stop the first one, but it's the 2nd and 3rd pass that they really score on.
Maxwell being defended by Isley. Gets a pick and roll with Divac. Maxwell penetrates, kicks it off to Pollard. Shot clock to 9. Maxwell on the baseline, doesn't get it. Anderson with the rebound. Back comes Utah. Isley tried to thread the needle. Barry broke it up, and look at John. He's going to be on the all-floor burn team. He went into the seats and then bounced back up so fast I kind of lost him. But watch this effort by John Barry.
I tell you, that's what you're talking about. When a guy comes off the bench, he knows what they need. And John Barry says, we need some intensity. We need some hustle. I'll give it to you.
Make my daddy proud.
Lincoln Mercury and Ford dealers have everyday low prices and just what your vehicle needs to start summer off right. Now get an air conditioning system check for $29.95 or less. Motor crash shocks for cars are just $69 or less per pair installed, and only $99 for trucks. The right people, the right parts, and always the right prices. Quality Care Service at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
At your service, Quality Care. I hope I see you there.
Jack forgot his briefcase.
I can see him.
Don't worry. We both have Nextel.
He's crossing the street. Phone him.
Nah, it's too easy. I can text page him. Yeah, where's the fun in that?
If he gets to the airport without the presentation, we're dead.
Time for the secret weapon. Two-way radio feature. Right about now. Hey, Jack. Hold up, my man. I think you... Jack?
Nextel's integrated features make ordinary cell phones seem ordinary.
The journey has begun.
Time to roll, baby. Time to roll.
In a battle of pride and passion.
Bravo! No!
Leaders emerge.
Fist out, fist out! 3-down single now.
And a new champion will rise.
Trevor!
The NBA presents the playoffs on TBS. Now playing.
Well, the Sacramento Kings have Utah right now 81-76 with 9:41 to go. But remember, it's at the Delta Center. The Jazz at the Delta Center, one of the toughest teams in the NBA in the last decade. This year, the Jazz in regular season, 22-3. That's tied for the best record in the NBA in the regular season. Here's their all-time playoff record at the Delta Center, 44-11. Of course, one of the reasons is that man right there, Jerry Sloan, because the Jazz were pretty darn good at the Salt Palace also. There's two other reasons into your picture. 9:41 to go. Kings up 81-76. Crunch time.
Well, the Kings have baited them into quick shots.
Anderson got the lob in the middle. They'll start it all over again. That came from Stockton. 6 on the shot clock. Pick and roll with Malone. Stepped out big as Stojakovic. Stockton has to pass it inside. Thurl Bailey blocked by Scott Pollard. That'll be a shot clock violation. And what defense, uncharacteristically, by the Sacramento Kings on that possession.
But this is what they've been doing all night. Getting the nice plays. That's a big block with the shot clock running down. Thurl Bailey had a good look at the hoop. And Pollard has come in and given them a nice lift.
Jazz 3 turnovers in 5 possessions in the 4th period. Maxwell for 3. It is 84-76. Kings by 8. Who would have thought this after losing by 30? But remember, the Kings are the highest scoring team in the NBA at 100.2. And look at this. They're raining threes. 7 of 13. They've been shooting well from 3 all year long against Utah. They are 32 of 66 in the 3 games.
Bob, this game is long from over, but the things that have got him going, again, we're going to take another look at Pollard on the block shot. Just tremendous down low. He's in every play since he's been in the game. That's a nice look by Bailey, but right there, Pollard with the fingertip block and then filling it afterwards for his guys. Hey, it was me. It was me. Going the other way, guys.
Scott Pollard started with Detroit, then went to Atlanta, got waived by Atlanta. All he was known for his first year were those weird sideburns or whatever he is growing there. But now he's becoming known as a good bench player at 8 points in 18 minutes in game number 1. Stockton, trouble. Nice pass inside Thurl Bailey. If I had a nickel for every time I've said nice pass with John Stockton, I'd retire. Well, I don't think I'd retire. Buy a boat. Pollard with the foul. Reggie, you're the sartorial guy here. What do you call those things? What do you call it?
I don't know, Bob.
If you're speechless, that's all we need to know about it.
I don't know. It looked like he took a marker and did it.
Thurl Bailey gets everything but the free throw on that. Thurl Bailey, we told you before, started his career with Utah, then left, went over to Europe and played for a while. This is his 11th year and is now back for his 2nd run with the Jazz. Thurl out of North Carolina State in 83. 84-77 Kings. 8:31 to go in the ball game. John Barry's going to think about and hit the 3. 87-77. That's 8 3-pointers for the Kings in this ball game. They had only 3 in game number 1.
Bob, we talked about in the beginning, the only way the Kings can win this game is to get hot from outside and let it all hang out. And that's exactly what's happening.
Chris Webber saves it. It goes out of bounds off Bailey. It'll be Kings ball. Look at the bench. Devon's up. Jason Williams up. The Kings are smelling an upset, which would take the home court advantage away from the defending Western Conference champion Utah Jazz, and the series moves to Sacramento on Wednesday. But a long time left in the game. Stojakovic misses from the perimeter. A long time left, and the Jazz are proud defenders of their home court. 7:50 remaining. Field goals this quarter. Utah. Zip. Donut. Malone changes that as he shoots it over Pollard. Back to an 8-point lead. Malone with 29 in this ball game here tonight. Carl at 21 3/4 in game number 1. Now Hornacek defending John Barry. Barry with the penetration has it stripped. Stockton way out in front. Russell blocked by Pollard. Oh, baby! Stockton with the loose ball. End to end. Russell is blocked and hammered as he got between a Pollard-Barry sandwich. And we have the foul on the Kings and booze raining down at the Delta Center. Reggie.
The Kings are playing inspired basketball. They believe in themselves even if no one else does. Pollard, the defensive stopper down low. And then, of course, coming back after that, nice little play by the Jazz, going for the second chance, and they hammer Russell down there. No easy layups. They believe they can pull this off.
How about the bench play in the second half? Pollard, Barry, Maxwell. Look at this frenzy. It's your ball, my ball. Here comes Rick Barry, by the way, picks up the personal. There's the block. Scott Pollard.
Honey?
Hi, baby.
Oh, hi, Daddy.
There's ordinary beer. Then there's the Michelob Light. Beer or Michelob.
Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers now have everyday low prices on the services you need most. And with summer coming, it's the perfect time for an air conditioning system check. Get one now for just $29.95 or less. Or get brake service for $95 or less installed. The right people, the right parts, and always the right prices. Quality care service at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
At your service, quality care. I hope I see you there.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
TBS and Richard Petty want you to know your NASCAR on the Superstation.
Welcome back to the Delta Center. I'm Cheryl Miller. And moments earlier, before the timeout, Chris Webber having to be helped off by his teammates, Vernon Maxwell, and also Vlade Divac. I looked at Vlade Divac, who made contact with me, eye contact. He said, Cheryl, he's fine. He has that sore back that he's been battling with, but obviously they've been stretching him out. He's back on the floor. Doesn't want to miss any of this action, guys.
Cheryl, by the way, Webber had 13 at the half, only one field goal in the third period, none here in the fourth, so he may be bothered by the back throughout this period, but as a Warrior, former Warrior, I might add, he is going on. 87-80 now. Kings lead, cut to 7. And I was telling you about Chris Webber's numbers. He had 13 at the half, only 2 in this second half.
And Bob, when you look at this game, if the Kings pull this off, I'm going to go back to the very first play of the game when Chris Webber laid John Stockton out, that set the tone and the tempo for the Kings. Let everybody know what's up.
Webber spins inside to go for the shot. He's down now after Ostertag fouled him. Now he's holding that right knee, but often when you pull that knee back up, don't want to sound like a doctor, that's because the back hurts. So we'll just wait for a moment, and it looks like Chris Webber will be all right. Easy for me to say. Fourth foul, by the way, on Greg Ostertag.
I tell you what, that is a hard move to make when your back is hurting right there. Even the little punch in the back sends his back possibly into spasm. You know, it's hard to say exactly what happened under those circumstances, but you know one thing, it didn't feel good.
Let's see with sore back and his 45% free throw shooting if he can knock one or both of these down. Of course, the crowd applauding that. Fourth foul on Ostertag. The back problem that Chris Webber has is a strain in his lower sacroiliac. He missed 5 games down the stretch. Doesn't get either one of them. Malone with the rebound. Webber 0 for 4 from the line. Kings by 6, 7 minutes to go in the ball game. Kings staying with their bench. Barry, Pollard, Maxwell, Stojakovic on the floor. Webber the only starter out there. Malone backing in Pollard. Pollard in his face, but who's going to stop Malone down there? And 31 for Carl tonight.
And the Kings did a great job. They, as we said earlier, they don't want to double team Carl. So that was a good thing because he had been burning them with the passing.
Maxwell with the penetration. Webber with the loose ball. Everybody flying at him. Stojakovic with 9 on the shot clock. Barry calling for it, running the point with this group of players on the floor. Barry's penetration. He's fouled on the drive. Team foul situation. That's the first team foul on the Jazz. They'll call it on that second team foul on the Jazz, and they'll call it on Russell.
Chris Webber going to show you again. A lot of pain in his back already, and that's a lot of contact when your back is already sore. He goes down in a lot of pain, and you know, I'm going to tell you, Bob, what happens is your back goes into spasm when you're having problems down there, and that's a protection thing.
Great pass from Webber to Divac with the lay-in, and now Kings back by 6. And by the way, we have Jason Williams and Vlade Divac back on the floor with Barry and Maxwell. 6 minutes to go in the game. 6-point Kings lead. Half court into Malone. Double team quickly on him that time. Russell drives past Maxwell. Fancy dipsy doodle inside. Jason Williams keeps it alive but can't save it. With 1 on the shot clock, Utah will get the ball, but 1 second remaining on the shot clock. They'll have to get it in and get it up quickly. Now,
And Bob, when you look at the defense of the Kings, as you see the hustle by Jason Williams, it's their lack of double teaming Karl Malone that is really keeping the other players at bay, because now Karl has to go one-on-one, and the other guys are not getting those easy layups like they did in game one.
Let's see 1 second here for the Jazz. Malone was open for the shot at the buzzer. It cleared, and that ball is knocked out of bounds off of the Kings. It will belong to Utah. So Malone got the shot up in time. That kept it alive, and the loose ball goes to the Jazz.
That's good hustle by Maxwell, but right here, he could have got called for a foul running into Brian Russell. The referee calls it out on Maxwell.
In regular season, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Certainly not in this game tonight. 5:40 to go. Kings by 6. New shot clock for the Jazz. Hornacek defended by Barry. Right in his face. Hornacek is going to dip inside of him, take the shot, rebound. Shandon Anderson. These offensive boards are keeping the Jazz alive. They're getting second opportunity and even third opportunities with the ball. 12 on the shot clock. Punched away by Weber. Back to Stockton. Floater. Not this time. Divac with a rebound. A lot of opportunities for Utah that time. Couldn't get it to drop. Kings continue to lead by 6. Barry from Jason Williams looking for the two-man game with Divac, defended by Ostertag. Now isolated. 8 on the shot clock. Ostertag with 4 fouls. Divac bats him down low. Missed the shot. Good D by Ostertag.
Right now, I believe it's up to Karl Malone. The defense of the Sacramento Kings are really stifling the Jazz because they're making the other players play. Karl Malone, with single coverage, has to recognize that and really start doing something against Weber with the bad back.
Both teams with 13 turnovers after that Jazz turnover. 8 on the shot clock. Weber against Malone. Let's see how his back affects him on this possession. 6-point lead. Weber dribbles it out of bounds. He's playing hurt. You can see the look on his face and his very difficult time walking. That's 14 turnovers by the Kings now, continuing to lead by 6. Clock down to 4:19. Remember, the Kings, #1 scoring team in the NBA. The last place defensive team. They score 100.2, give up 100.6. 117 to Utah in this first game. Inside to Malone. The defense is there from Weber. Barry on the run. Has to beat Ostertag. Gets inside, gets to Maxwell. Good heads-up play by Barry to not try to take that himself.
Smart play all the way around, not forcing that offense. The clock is really in their favor. They have to utilize the clock.
Divac to Maxwell, misses it. Divac kept it alive, but into the hands of, guess who? John Stockton. Clock to 3:45. Kings continue to lead. This is going to be an offensive foul.
That's a good call,
Bob. On Hornacek. And let's see if Barry's okay. Divac is okay. He's down hard. He's all right.
Karl Malone grabbed Divac's arm as Divac was going through and pulled him down.
Vlade Divac gets knocked down hard. He came up pumping his fist. He looked to be okay, the best we can tell. We'll have Cheryl verify that for us. 3:42 to go in this ball game. The Kings lead by 6 in a playoff intense game.
Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers now have everyday low prices on the services you need most. And with summer coming, it's the perfect time for an air conditioning system check. Get one now for just $29.95 or less. Or get brake service for $95 or less installed. The right people, the right parts, and always the right prices. Quality care service at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
At your service, quality care. I hope I see you there.
That was interesting.
The all-new Volkswagen Jetta. Sometimes everything just comes together.
Attention homeowners, if you've had it up to here with Tangle Trimmer Line, change it once and for all with Easy Trim. the most convenient gas trimmer replacement head ever. Blades snap into place in just 3 quick seconds. Faster than you can say Easy Trim, your hassles with tangled trimmer line are gone. With its large cutting diameter, Easy Trim fits virtually all gas trimmers. Easy Trim is available at participating lawn and garden, hardware, home center retailers everywhere.
Sacramento by 6, 3:42 to go. Vlade Divac went down hard just before we went away. And as we take a look at this, you see he fell on that left hip. That's where the pain and grimace is coming from. And he has played in this game 37 minutes. How significant that is when you think about the story we told earlier about Divac with his concerns over the war in Yugoslavia, getting only 3 or 4 hours sleep a night. Last night, Divac had only 3 hours sleep. He's playing very sleep deprived, but tonight, 16 points, 6 boards, 8 assists. And the Kings have an 89-83 lead. And on the flip side of that, Ostertag only 2 points and 6 boards.
Bob, in the fourth quarter, the Jazz shooting 2 for 12 with 6 turnovers.
Nearly turned it over there to the Kings. John Barry. The lean in won't go. Loose ball. Stockton has come away with loose ball after loose ball. He cleans up everything. Hornacek misses the 3. The crowd ready to explode. It's going to be Kings ball with 3:11 to go. Stockton and Hornacek, who were the guards who dominated in game 1. Not so tonight.
Jeff Hornacek, I just asked you, where has he been? Well, he's been on the bench shooting 3 for 11 for this game. Hasn't had much playing time.
Weber against Malone. Last time, remember, Weber turned it over down here. 10 on the shot clock, looking for his jump hook. Got it off the glass. Big bucket. It's been the first time either team has scored in a couple of minutes at least. Maybe 3 minutes. 91-83, Kings by 8. 2:45 to go. Hornacek getting it into Malone. Back out Stockton. 4-3. Count it, John Stockton. Oh, baby. He's the big-time playmaker in big-time games. Game after game after game. Kings 91, Jazz 86, 2:27 to go.
What I like what the Kings are doing is they've slowed the pace of the game down. They're working the clock, and they're really utilizing. What this does is it lets everyone on the court know where the shot is coming from. That way they can work on the offensive rebound. And Chris Webber showing what he's made of, Bob. Back-to-back buckets out here in a big-time game. He's never won a playoff game, Bob, so this is really huge for him.
93-86 Kings. He just hit 2 back-to-back jump hooks. Minute 58 to go. Could the Jazz lose this game at home after winning the first one by 30? Not if Karl Malone has anything to say about it. 93-88 Kings by 5. Plenty of time left. Minute 49. Malone with 33. Both teams have 1 foul to give in the 2-minute period. Shot clock to 10. Barry and Maxwell staying on the floor here late in the game. Bad pass from Maxwell. Got it back. Fadeaway jumper. Doesn't go. Rebound Barry. Calls timeout. Big play by Barry. Got the rebound off the Maxwell miss. Called the timeout when he was knocked down. We have 1:26 to go in this game. Now, this is what we expected when this playoff series started, frankly, because of the 3 overtimes the two played. But after Utah came out and dominated so much in game 1, everybody started wondering.
And Barry coming in off the bench, doing a great job right there, calling the timeout after the big hustle from way on the weak side of the floor. This has been an outstanding basketball game in terms of physicality and effort out on the floor.
Up next, it's Inside the NBA with Bob Lorenz, Toronto's Butch Carter, and Terry Cummings of the Golden State Warriors. Scores and highlights of round 1 action. Atlanta won tonight to go up 2-0 in their series with Detroit. Miami won tonight to tie that series with the Knicks at 1 game apiece. And here, the Kings lead it 93-88, minute 26 to go in the ball game.
Bob, how much does a King player learn under these circumstances? As I said earlier, only 123 playoff games between the lot of them, and that blowout in the first game, really, they've come back with a vengeance, doing a lot of things structurally right to be ahead in this ball game.
Divac isolated against Ostertag, backing him down. Up and under. Divac draws the foul. Vlade, a good shooter, remember, 79% free throw shooter.
And late here, Bob, it is the inability of the Jazz to stop the Kings one-on-one in the low post area. Chris Webber, 2 back-to-back big baskets, and right there, Vlade Divac not getting the bucket, but sending him to the free throw line where he shoots 70% from that spot.
2 of 3 from the line here tonight. Gets that one. And Vlade Divac, when you saw the, let's take another shot of Vlade's face. You see the lack of sleep under his eyes. He said he tries to nap, but he's so tense over the Yugoslavian situation that he can't sleep even when he has the time. And tonight, now he's played around 39 minutes. He drops both the free throws. 95, 88, minute 12 to go. The Kings on the break here. Stockton's pull-up 3 doesn't go. Maxwell, big rebound, raked loose. Russell out to Stockton, misses the 3. Is it to be tonight? Williams with it, 57 seconds to go. What a story here tonight. This is only the 3rd time the Kings have been in the playoffs in 13 years, and tonight they're dribbling out the clock, and they're going to tie this series with Utah, virtually certainly, 95-88 with 44 seconds remaining. And check this for the Kings. The last win they had in the playoffs was back in 1996, which was the last time they were in playoffs. Prior to that, it was way back to 1986. And if you wonder, has this franchise ever won an NBA championship? Yes, when they were the Rochester Royals in 1951. I was even a young kid then. This is going to happen. 96-88. The Utah Jazz fans are stunned. Those are the owners, the 2 owners, the Maloof brothers, the new owners of the Sacramento Kings. How proud they must be tonight.
Oh, this game is all about respecting the playoffs, and the Kings came in here and came away with a split, Bob. That is huge for them going back to Sacramento where they play real good basketball.
Malone misses. He has not hit a 3 all year, has taken but a few. With 35 seconds to go, we have a whistle sounded here. I'm not sure what it's for right now as Bob Delaney's talking to Tom Washington. Look on the sideline. Look at Webber and Pollard and these players.
This is a young team growing up right in front of our eyes. Coming in here with this hostile crowd, getting a victory tonight is big for this organization.
Jason Williams is fouled by John Stockton. Jason Williams is a pretty good free throw shooter at 75%. Scott Pollard, great off the bench. In Sacramento, I got to think people around their television sets are going wacky. Now, should we get all excited and think Sacramento's going to take this series from Utah? I think not. But tied at 1, going back to Sacramento. Stories tonight. Chris Webber's bad back had to be helped off the floor. Came back out, knocked down time and again, came back out and played big. He has 20 points in this game. Jason Williams has been relatively quiet, but what I thought was a good move, Reggie, was Rick Adelman getting John Barry and Vernon Maxwell on the floor late in the game for their veteran poise.
Well, Bob, we talked about how well the bench plays against the Utah Jazz, scoring 83 points against them at one time. Big-time basketball game tonight for all Sacramento Kings.
Jason Williams has 18 points, and the Kings lead it by 10.
Is there an underdog in you? Is there a stubborn fool in you? Is there a screaming child in you? Is there a crazed lunatic in you? Gatorade, is it in you?
Lincoln Mercury and Ford dealers have everyday low prices and just what your vehicle needs to start summer off right. Now get an air conditioning system check for $29.95 or less. Motor crash shocks for cars are just $69 or less per pair installed and only $99 for trucks. The right people, the right parts, and always the right prices. Quality Care Service at participating Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
At your service, quality care. I hope I see you there.
To help you remember 10-10-3-4-5 long distance, we're looking at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th planets. You can call anywhere in the world and save up to 50%. Calls to Italy, Germany, and France are only 20 cents a minute. Well, I've just been informed that Jupiter, not Saturn, is the fifth planet. 10-10-3-4-5. The simple way to save on all your long distance.
The NBA playoffs on TBS. Brought to you by 10-10-3-4-5. The simple way to save on long distance. By Circuit City. Answers in every department. Low prices all over the store. By Gum Out. Drive your fuel system clean with a complete line of Gum Out Performance Fuel Additives. And by American Express.
Back to the Delta Center. Rick Adelman looking at his team with the lead. 32 seconds to go. Hornacek throws up the air ball. Jason Williams comes down with it, and this one's going to be in the books. The Utah Jazz, the defending Western Conference champions, 22-3 here at home. And everything's going in. Barry threw that up after the foul. And you saw the Portland score, by the way, over on TNT. That's a heck of a ball game. And it's just in the second quarter. There's the score, 57-53, Portland leading Phoenix. NBA action on TNT and TBS. And speaking of the Sacramento Kings, they suffered their worst loss in franchise playoff history when they lost by 30 to Utah on Saturday. Here is Byron Scott. He played with the Lakers, a great star, an assistant coach now for the Kings. He gave a speech to the Kings after that loss. He remembered the 34-point loss to Boston in the '85 finals when he was with the Lakers. Then they came back for a 109-102 win in Game 2 48 hours later, and now a mirroring of that by the Sacramento Kings. An incredible story.
Just incredible. I have to appreciate, as a fan and sitting over here watching this basketball game, it hasn't been technically a great-looking game, but the effort that started the game off with Chris Webber with that foul against John Stockton, I really believe set the tone for the Kings. It woke the other players up and really got them going, and he has been phenomenal tonight with his effort.
Reggie, that is a great point. That was the first foul of the ball game, and he just leveled John Stockton. As you know, John is incredible at setting those picks on big men, is fearless with that. And it did set a tone, and the bench has been very strong. Maxwell, 12 points. Barry, 10 points. Pollard, 4 points and 3 blocks. 7 seconds. Isley missing the 3. This one is all over, but the shouting. The Kings upsetting the Jazz at home, 101-90, taking the home court advantage away from Utah. And let's go to Cheryl Miller.
Here we go. Where we go? All right, C-Web, first of all, you guys go from Saturday from the worst defeat in the franchise history to a big win tonight. How do you feel?
I feel great. I just thank God. My team worked hard, and the fans were tough on us, and we had to come out physical, but we're coming back, Sacramento, so y'all heard how bad they were on us tonight. Make sure we're loud on Wednesday.
See, well, first thing is you set the tone defensively with that hard knock, that hard foul, or hard screen on John Stockton. Was that the plan coming into tonight's game?
It wasn't a plan for coach or the team. I just felt like, I'll take being the scapegoat. I'll take, if we'd have lost the game, they said that I got us out of place and riled up, but I felt our team needed somebody that would be the scapegoat, and I just wanted to do that. And Stockton's a great player. I even told him I didn't mean to hurt you, and he's been hit harder than that many times before. But he says great back pick, so the first time I wanted to just be physical. The refs knew it. I wasn't trying to be dirty, but I think it set a tone because, this is my first playoff win. I'm very excited. I love this. So, I want to win and just keep playing until we can't play anymore.
All right, C-Web, first of all, fourth quarter, you were helped off the court by a couple teammates. How is your back feeling?
My back is sore right now. It's hard to stretch a little bit, but I can run, and I feel pretty good. So treatment and a day off, we'll be all right.
Hey, back's not as sore with the win, right?
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. With the win, I feel kind of good right now.
All right, congratulations. Savor the victory. Let's go, baby. Happy Mother's Day. Let's go back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Cheryl. Chris Webber, the NBA rebounding champion, and how about rebounding from his own personal problems, his professional career? Chris Webber, the star, the leader of the Sacramento Kings. He had 20 points tonight. Devot's 18, Williams 18. Great job off the bench. It'll be a wild one in Sacramento. For Reggie Theus and Cheryl Miller, this is Bob Neal saying so long from Salt Lake City. Coming up next, Ernie Johnson in our studios in Atlanta.
The 1999 Atlanta Braves, all season on the Superstation.
Hi, come on in. Hey, it's good to see you.
How are you?
These are the days.
Something smells great.
Fetzer days. Enjoy the wine.
Introducing chicken salad at Subway. Try our delicious chicken salad sub, handmade right in front of you. Subway, the way a sandwich should be.
When the male is in pursuit of the female, the slightest scent of unpleasantness may send the female running. Thus, I recommend Right Guard Clear Gel or Clear Stick. Powerful protection from ferocious odor and wetness that glides on clear with no flaky white stuff.
How far is the female?
A good 70 yards, mate.
I've made longer passes than that before. Right Guard, Clear Gel, and Clear Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Think something that small can't hurt your car? Even smaller carbon deposits can clog your car's fuel injectors. So use Gum Out Extra Fuel Injector Cleaner to get rid of deposits for smoother overall performance. And did I mention better acceleration?
Drive your fuel injectors clean with Gum Out Extra.
Do you know me? Not yet. I'm starting my own business, and that's a little scary. For me, the card is my support system. I rely on it to build my office, fill my closets, buy business lunches, dinners. And when it all gets to be too much, I rely on it to bring me home. It's good to know there's someone there when you need them.
The difference is membership.
EJ in our TBS studios here in Atlanta. Here's what's going on tonight in the NBA playoffs. The Miami Heat tie things up with the New York Knicks, winning 83-73. Morning going for 26-8-5. Game 3 Wednesday night on TNT at 8 o'clock Eastern time. The Atlanta Hawks have taken a 2-zip lead over the Detroit Pistons, winning the first two at the Georgia Dome. Again, they win it by 20, this time 89-69. They'll play here on TBS Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at the Palace of Auburn Hills. The stunner you just saw, the Sacramento Kings, winners over the Utah Jazz, 101-90. Utah now must win at Arco Arena, where they lost a game in overtime and won a game in overtime in the regular season. Chris Webber is on a playoff winner for the first time in his life. 101-90, Sacramento's win. The Phoenix Suns and Portland Trail Blazers are playing even as we speak. That's on our sister network, TNT. You can tune in there to catch the end of that. They're about midway through the third period, a 65-57 Portland lead over the Phoenix Suns. Coming up next, or coming up later on TNT after that game, as a matter of fact, you can catch Inside the NBA. They'll wrap up the entire evening with Bob Lorenz, Terry Cummings, and Butch Carter. Coming up next here on TBS, it is Stepfather 2. Stepfather 2, Stepmother 1, bottom of the third inning. That's it for TBS tonight. Ernie Johnson reporting from Atlanta. We'll see you tomorrow night.
The only thing we have to do to end the pain is stop running. We keep running.
DMX technology, performance you can feel. Are you...
Men, do you want to see your abs and increase muscle definition? Women, how would you like a toned body with cellulite-free hips and thighs? Thousands of people are turning these visions into reality with the best-selling video program, Fitness Made Simple, Unlock Your Potential, hosted by fitness celebrity and columnist John Bastow.
Hi, I'm John Bastow, and like many of you, I tried just about every diet and exercise fad on the market, but nothing gave me the results that I was after. Finally, I used Fitness Made Simple to build the lean, muscular physique, including the tight six-pack of abs I always wanted, but never was able to see before.
Fitness Made Simple eliminates all the guesswork by giving you the exact blueprint for improving your body at any age, with time-conserving workouts and a detailed fat-burning nutritional meal plan.
In 8 weeks, I transformed my body from this to this. Fitness Made Simple worked for me, and it can work for you too.
Order Fitness Made Simple by calling toll-free and be on the way to building the body of your dreams.
Would you like to win a trip to the Brickyard 400 and drive the race parade car home? Here's how. Just follow Steve Park and enter the ESPN Drive at Home Sweepstakes, presented by Pennzoil. Watch the Pontiac Excitement 400 on ESPN. Note the Pennzoil car's starting and finishing position. Then call 1-800-581-3600 or stop by a participating Pennzoil Lube Center and fill out an entry form. You could win a trip to the Brickyard 400 and take home the race parade car or other great prizes.
Maglio Ordonez with his 8th home run of the year. In fact, every White Sox player in the lineup had at least one hit as Chicago beat Texas 5-2. Jamie Navarro scatters 4 hits in 8 innings, while it was disastrous for Rick Helling, who gave up 4 runs, 8 hits in 6 1/3. Royals looking to complete a 4-game sweep of the Twins. The story, Johnny Damon. He's going to take off second. Terry Steinbach, the throw to second. Joe Randa tries to steal home, and Randa beats the throw. Double steal. Nicely done. 2-0 KC. Did I mention Johnny Damon was the story? Top of the 7th, 2 out, 1 on. And Damon with a motion in motion off of LaTroy Hawkins, a 2-run home run. His 5th of the year for Damon. He had 4 hits in the game, and this one was easy for Kansas City, 8-4. Damon has 7 RBIs in his last 2 games. His hitting streak now at 14 games in AL Best. He hit .556 in this 4-game sweep of the Twins. Said Damon about this year's Royals, "This is the best team I played on." Damon is in his 5th season with Kansas City.
Nearly a month after his arrest in Tampa, Darryl Strawberry was officially charged Monday with cocaine possession and soliciting a prostitute. He will be arraigned May 26th. Strawberry is on what baseball calls administrative leave. During that time, he can't work out with the Yankees or any farm team pending the conclusion of baseball's investigation. Still to come on the show, the Blues rallied from 3-1 down to oust the Coyotes. Now have overcome a 2-0 hole to get back in the series against the Stars. Now Pavel Demitra turned around his playoffs shortly.
Surf's up at Old Navy. Old Navy board shorts. Old Navy prices. How low can they go?
Old Navy board shorts.
Old Navy board shorts.
Old Navy board shorts for the family, 1050 to 1950.
See you at Old Navy.
How long are they going to worship this guy?
Hey, we got Cy Young winners over here. Come on, Alice. Oh. Step into it.
Feel bigger?
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Hey, have you guys seen Mark?
I've seen Mark.
Don't worry, little guys. I'll find you a happy home. Hey, Bearman, before you take this frost brewed Coors Light, one of my little babies, I'll have to ask you a few questions. Huh? How often do you clean your home?
Just wanted a beer.
Of course you do. Do you have a good job?
I'm a surgeon, brain surgeon.
I won't be happy till all these beers have a good home. Bearman, there's a roof over your head.
Oh, skylight.
This is Carl Ravitch. If you didn't see baseball tonight on Monday, here's what you missed.
The background is, what the Padres say is that Leyvis had told people that Maddox likes to put a little KY jelly underneath his tongue.
And I just tell myself to be aggressive in that situation. It was a good pitch. It was a fastball down and in, and I didn't hit it really, really good, but I hit it good enough to get out.
Over the course of the hour, we've kept you updated on this one. Montreal, Arizona, 6-6. Jay Bell in the bottom of the 9th inning turns around an Ayala fastball. Peter Gammons joins me 10:30 Eastern on Tuesday night. Among the stories we'll follow, the unique matchup between Bobby Jones and Bobby Jones.
Pittsburgh.
Pirates and the Astros, bottom of the 3rd, Pete Shurik against Derek Bell. Derek Bell, a .462 career hitter against Shurik, but he never hit a home run until now. 6th of the year, Astros take a 1-0 lead. Top of the 4th now, Mike Hampton was cruising. Adrian Brown sit on a potsy. The next batter, Pat Mears in the role of mouth. Hampton, 7 strikeouts, no walks in the game. Bottom 4, Shurik against Glenn Barker. A foul ball toward right, Brian Giles. Oh, Brian Giles getting it done, reaching into the stands. That's worth another peek from an angle to see him climb, maybe. That's good enough. Nice play by Giles, top 5. Hampton facing Ed Sprague. Didn't always get strikeouts. Little sinker got a ground ball there. Sprague reached for it, 6-4-3. Astros turned 3 double plays. They blanked the Pirates 6-0. Hampton's first complete game and first shutout since he did it to the Mets in April of '98. He even went 1 for 3 at the dish to up his average to .286. Rockies beat the Mets 10-3. Henry Blanco had been firing blanks since 1997. Got his first homer since then. Todd Helton also went yard. Larry Walker got a hit to extend his streak to 14 games. The Mets have dropped 5 of 6.
The Blues hit the high note Monday night on Pavel Dimitra's overtime goal, lifting St. Louis back into their playoff series with Dallas. Amazingly, Monday night's overtime game for the Blues was their 5th of the playoffs in 10 games. That's not the only way these Blues have been battle-tested. 7 of those 10 games have been decided by 1 goal. With Monday night's hero, here's Steve Levy and Darren Pang.
Well, we have ourselves a series now in St. Louis. The Blues get right back in it with Game 4, a chance to tie it on home ice. Pavel Dimitra scored the game winner in overtime, and it was really a strange statistic coming in. All of your points had come in Blues losses. Now you finally score a playoff point and a win. I know you're thrilled. Your first ever overtime goal. Express your emotions.
Oh, I never been unhappy, and that's probably my biggest goal in my hockey career, and this is unbelievable feeling. Like I never scored overtime goal, and especially against Dallas, you know, and we got a full house and we got great fans, and this is just a great feeling.
You guys have shown that the ability to come back. You were down 2 games in the Phoenix series, down 2 games in this series. Now rally. Talk about that comeback mentality.
Oh, like, you know, like a game in Dallas, last game we lost in overtime, and that's just to build like confidence, because we scored 4 goals and we got a close game, and we just know like we got a chance to beat this team, and lately we playing great at home, and Fuhr play unbelievable, and that's what we need. Like everybody just work hard, and every 4 line just to, like working hard, and we just have to keep going, and you know, we just to show up like we can beat any team in the league.
Our thanks to Pavel Dimitra. I would say it's official that his goal-scoring slump is now over. The Blues right back in this series. We go back to you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Well, you know, it has been said that Tiger Woods is at his best in match play. Will he meet his match this summer, and is Thousand Oaks misnamed? We'll put it together shortly.
Today's Sports Century Classic Moment is brought to you by Burger King.
Behind the net, the Sanderson, Orr! On the Orr! Their 22-year-old sensation scores after 40 seconds of overtime. And the Bruins win the Stanley Cup.
Noel Picard, the defenseman, he kind of lifted me up, but I also jumped. So it was a combination of Noel lifting me and me jumping, because I did see the puck go in the net, and, you know, I knew it was over.
That was May 10th, 1970.
Kids' favorite characters from Teletubbies are now at Burger King. There's 6 beanbag finger puppets to collect in all. Get one in every tasty Kids Club hamburger meal you buy. Still just $1.99. And try a Teletubbies favorite, Tubby Custard from Jell-O, only at Burger King.
When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Some probables in the American League. The Yankees going to send out Andy Pettitte, coming off his first victory of the year, to face Steve Sparks of the slumping Angels. Blue Jays have dropped 13 out of 17. They will be in KC on Tuesday. Kenny Rogers tries to follow up his best start of the season last Wednesday in Toronto. Rogers faces rookie Jeff Weaver in Detroit. Brad Radke, 2-0, 2.17 ERA in his last 4 starts. Radke and the Twins head to Tampa Bay.
Except for the show The Practice, who needs summer reruns when you can get an 18-hole battle between 2 of the greats of the game of golf? August 2nd, ABC Sports will televise the showdown at Sherwood. Tiger Woods against David Duval at Sherwood Country Club in Thousand Oaks, California. Said Tiger, it's a chance where David and I can compete head-to-head, beat each other's brains out, walk away and say it was great for the game of golf. Tiger forgetting to mention the $1.5 million purse, with $1.1 million of it going to the winner. That's not bad either. Coming up, something you may not know about how well the Heat and Knicks know each other. Stay tuned.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Circuit City. Answers in every department. Low prices all over the store.
Let's start with 33. 33 squared is 1089. In the year 1089, we had the Great Battle of Kugelmas. where the forces of Kugel were outnumbered 33-1. Their leader, Armand de Green, age 33. Armand prevailed by pushing boulders down a hill, crushing his enemies. He smote them with rolling rocks, if you will. History does not exist in a vacuum.
Circuit City's 50th anniversary sale is going on now. Stop by today and get a $100 bonus rebate on all desktop computer, monitor, and printer packages, and notebook computers, too. You'll save $250 on this Hewlett-Packard computer system. It includes a 15-inch monitor and Canon BubbleJet color printer, all for just $949.99 after mail-in rebates. Don't miss the savings in every department. It's Circuit City's 50th anniversary sale, going on now.
Raise you. Pontiac Excitement 400, Saturday at 7:30, NASCAR on ESPN. Did you know is brought to you by Dell. Direct computer solutions from the company that pioneered direct around the world. Be direct. Dell.
As we showed you earlier, the Miami Heat evening their first round series with the Knicks following a 10-point win on Monday. Alonzo Mourning leading the way with 26 points.
This is the third consecutive year that the Knicks and Heat have battled in the playoffs. Knicks are familiar with such playoff familiarity. Did you know that the Knicks and the Bullets met in the postseason 6 consecutive seasons from 1969 to 1974? In those 6 years, the Knicks went to the finals 3 times, winning it twice, and the Bullets went to the finals once.
If you missed anything, don't worry about it. We're coming right back. Aren't we?
SportsCenter is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network, go.com.
Now on SportsCenter.
Swinging a long drive to left field, way back down the line.
Nomar puts on a hitting display at Fenway, while Langford flashes some glove in St. Louis, and McGuire shows flashes of last year's form. The NBA playoffs heating up. Will the Knicks make it 2 in a row on South Beach, or would Zoe simply say once is enough? Could an underdog steal one on the road, or would the favorites take care of business? Would it be business as usual for the Stars, or would the Blues make them sing a different tune? Smoltzy puts his perfect record on the line in San Francisco, while the big unit hits the hill for the D-backs at home. Stay focused, because SportsCenter is next.
Hi there, glad to have you with us on SportsCenter. Always pleased to share the desk with Linda Cohn. I'm Reese Davis.
Ahead on the show, why the Detroit Red Wings could be without Stevie Y for Game 3, why the Detroit Pistons could use his offense, and why the Joey chants were alive and well at the Jake. But first, the long ball alive and well at Fenway.
It certainly was, Linda, and just what you'd expect for at least one of the teams. Only 2 teams in baseball had hit fewer home runs than the Red Sox, and it took their leading returning home run hitter from last year 78 at-bats to get his first dinger this season. In fact, with his league-leading 11 home runs, Ken Griffey Jr. had just 10 fewer than the entire Red Sox roster, and Jr. was up on Boston 2-1 in grand slams. The stage was set for the proverbial one-man wrecking crew. It's always set for Griffey, and always set for people facing Mariner pitching as well, giving up more home runs than anybody. Bottom 1, Nomar with the bases loaded, and they are unloaded off the youngster Brett Hinchliff. A grand slam puts Boston up 4-1. Bottom of the 3rd is now 4-2 Red Sox. Nomar came into the game with just 2 home runs. I think we see the stroke that brought him 35 a year ago. Takes Hinchliff out again. A 2-run shot, his second of the night, is 6-2, but he wasn't done.
Swinging a long drive to left field, way back down the line, and it is gone! A grand slam! Nomar Garcia-Parra with a grand slam, his second of the game. He becomes the 11th man in Major League history to hit 2 grand slams in 1 game.
And as he did it, he beat the Mariners by himself 10-4. His Red Sox teammates got a couple of extras, 12 for the final. Garcia-Parra, you heard he's the 11th player to hit 2 slams in a game. 3 of them are Red Sox. Rudy York and Jim Tabor the others. He is the first American League player to have 10 RBI in a game since 1975, matching the feat of yet another Red Sox star, Freddie Lynn. Garciaparra doubled his career high in RBI for a game. I guess so much for wondering where his power had gone.
Days like this, you enjoy them. I mean, I don't take them for granted, you know. I'm not say, oh yeah, I mean, they're nice and you enjoy them, and it's funny you'll enjoy them for just that night because you know you got to come back and get them tomorrow. And the way this game is, anything can happen the next day.
What a special player this kid is for Boston. You know, fortunately he's here. These people have a chance to watch him. But just the enthusiasm, certainly the skill, everything that goes combined with the makeup of the kid. It's really a special player.
Boy, they've been putting the grand into the grand old game over the last 2.5 weeks. Boston's Creighton Gubanik, his first big league hit was a granny. Griffey went in back-to-back games. Tatis did it in the same inning, and now Nomar's feet. Pitching anyone? Off to the NBA now, and 3 times in the regular season, the Kings made the Jazz work overtime, but Utah had barely clocked in for Game 1 of their series before the Jazz was well on its way to a 30-point win. From the days when the Kings were known as the Rochester Royals through the Reggie Mule King era in Kansas City, never had the King franchise been so thoroughly trounced in a playoff game. Not that there have been many opportunities, but there was an opportunity to atone in Game 2. The Jazz veterans emphasizing no letdowns. Chris Webber hoping to bounce back from a rather mediocre Game 1. First possession. Check out C-Webb in the spot shot. Are you going to see Stockton come off that UCLA cut, and Webber just makes him pay. Annihilates Stockton. Flagrant foul. John stayed down for a while. He usually bounces up. You don't see that much. The tone had been set. Kings moving it inside. C-Webb following Big Nasty's missed 11 in the first quarter for Webber. Had to 14 in Game 1. Kings by 7. This time Webber drills Stockton again, and it's totally legal. Who says we never show screens? Then the mailman and Vlade pushing and shoving. Kings not backing down from the tough Jazz, but nobody put a body on Shannon Anderson. Thank you very much. Big Jazz rally in the second quarter. They were up by 2 at the break. Third quarter, Kings running. Jason all behind the back to Webber, who finds Big Nasty. Kings by a deuce after 3. In the fourth quarter, John Barry off the bench. See the 3, B the 3. A dozen for Barry. The lead is 10 for Sacramento. But Kings, tense moment. Ostertag so good in Game 1. Hammers Webber as he comes inside. A sore back giving C-Webb some trouble. Webber would stay in the game. He's an NBA player. Boy, is he ever. The jump hook off the window over Carl. Kings up by 8. After a Stockton triple, cut it back to 6. Webber working on mailman again and taking him down with a hook again. 20 points for Webber. The Kings feeling it as well they should be. 101-90. The final, Sacramento has evened the series at a game apiece. The Kings, the second worst scoring defense in the league, held the league's second best shooting team to 39.8% from the floor. D-Bot's totally outplayed by Ostertag in Game 1. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 8 dimes this time. Webber set the tone on that first play. The clutch baskets. It gave Sacramento its first playoff win in more than 3 years, but Jerry Sloan not pleased with his club's effort.
I never really felt like we were going with the idea we're going to try to stop them. There was too many hustle plays they got, and then when we did a couple of hustle plays, we couldn't get rid of it quick enough. Bring the basketball back out and do what we were supposed to do, but everybody had to show that we got to get a shot off, and unfortunately we missed it. Never made them play any defense.
In the beginning, we set a tone that we're not going to give up. Play with them 48 minutes. Chris had a huge game, especially in the fourth quarter when he took over the game. It's the first step. We got 2 more.
Well, in the opener against the Suns, also out west, the Blazers looked like the team that exploded out of the regular season gate. Could Phoenix rise from the Game 1 ashes? We promised a trip to the Rose Garden a little later.
Coming off their blowout victory in Game 1, the Knicks were sure of one thing heading into Game 2. The effort put forth by Miami Saturday would look nothing like the effort Monday night. Can you even fathom Tim Hardaway, Terry Porter, and Dan Marley combining to go 4 for 29 again? And for you history buffs, the winner of Game 1 in the 2 previous playoff series between the Knicks and the Heat ended up losing the series. To Miami we go. Alonzo Mourning trying to get that winning feeling again. Could Tim Hardaway be ineffective again? First quarter, Zoe taking charge. Mourning blowing by the hobbling Patrick Ewing. Zoe 10 of 16 from the field. Mourning just getting started. Latrell Sprewell forgetting he had teammates. Looking for the monster two-handed jam. No way. Mourning with one of his 4 blocks on the night. Second quarter, Heat by 11. Patrick Ewing, the Warrior. 16 points, 15 boards, cutting the Heat lead to 9. Late in the second, Heat up 11. Mourning again. Morning in the Heat shot 55% in that first half. Heat led by 11 at the break. To the third we go, Knicks battling back. Jamal Mashburn, his troubles continuing. One of 18 turnovers for Miami. Charlie Ward. Ward, nice feed to Larry Johnson, cutting the Heat lead to 9. The Heat only up 6 late in the third. Allen Houston, one of his finer moments in Game 2. 2 of his 12 points. Knicks within 4. Pat Riley, well, he's seen this before. To the fourth, Heat up 11, though, and the Knicks this time falter. Allen Houston, one of his 6 turnovers. What about Latrell Sprewell? Called for the offensive foul. He had 4 turnovers. The Knicks had 15 turnovers in the game. Miami, not an issue. Alonzo, 26 points, 8 boards. Under 3 minutes to go. Last gas. Sprewell by Terry Porter for 2 of his 15. The lead, 8. Under 2 to go. Miami puts it away. Tim Hardaway, Dan Marley, 2 big threes for Thunder Dan down the stretch. Did in the Knicks as the Heat even the series, despite the obviously hurting Tim Hardaway going just 1 for 5 from the floor. Hardaway did have 11 assists. That's as many as the entire Knicks team. Miami supporting cast Key, Terry Porter, Clarence Weatherspoon combining for 20 points, while Sprewell and Houston, they blew up in a bad way, combining for 10 turnovers and 27 points. That's 17 fewer points than they scored in Game 1.
If we're in the mentality that we're happy to leave here with a split, we got the wrong mentality. They're the best road team in the NBA over the last 3 years. And we had a chance tonight to go up 2-0. We didn't. They played a very good game. It's 1-1. Home court means nothing.
We're behind the 8 ball. That's the way it is. And you know, by not coming to play in Game 1 and them playing the way they did, we got to go to New York and get a win. And we've been in this situation before. It's going to be difficult, but we got to get focused. And we've won in New York a number of times, so. You know, we have to get our minds right, get our game together, and go up there and get a W.
More. How do you like it? How do you like it? Alonzo Mourning put up nearly identical numbers in the first 2 games of this series. So the rest of the team had to step up, and they did. Subtract Mourning, and the Heat shot 27%, scoring 48 points, but that was Game 1. In Game 2, they upped their game to 57 points on 46% shooting. And get this, Mourning has gone 10 for 16 from the field in both of these games.
Ice Capades now, and the Blues could say the best thing to come out of their first 2 games in Dallas was the flight home. Had the flight not been delayed when the cabin of the plane filled with smoke, whether that was a harbinger that the Blues' chances likewise went up in smoke, largely depended on whether St. Louis could find a way to derail Dallas in the third period. The Stars had overcome final period deficits in 3 of their 6 playoff wins and hadn't allowed the Blues to score in the third period of this series. The Golden Brett Stars up 2-0 as he returned home. And, oh, welcome home, Holly. Okay, all right. First period Stars on the power play, which had been anemic in the playoffs. Just 2 of 33. And what's the medicine for that? You bet. Brett Hull, second of the playoffs, both against St. Louis, 1-0 Dallas. Still in the first, Jamie Langenbrunner turns it over. Scott Pellerin to Scott Young. Young a blast. Belfort got just a piece, and the post helped him out. Second period tied at 1. Stars having trouble taking care of the puck. Pierre Turgeon, the poke check on Sergei Zubov. Turgeon skates in, but Belfort's there. 15-second period saves for him. Yet another Dallas turnover. Langenbrunner this time. Young to steal. Sets up Pellerin this time. And Pellerin found the side of the net rather than the back. Third period, we are tied at 1. Derek Plant loses the puck. Jochen Heck, Pavel Demitra, terrific move, and what the heck? A sweet backhander. First ever playoff goal for him. 15th different Blues player to score in the playoffs. That's tops in the league. Still in the third, Blues can't clear the zone. Here come the Stars coming from behind in the third one more time. Fuhr made a save, but it got knocked around. Originally, the goal was given to Grant Marshall. Check it out again. You'll see it went off of Marshall's stick, and Daryl Sador picking it cleanly for the goal. We go to overtime, where Dallas was unbeaten in its last 5. Less than 3 minutes in, the Blues. Jeff Portnoy finds Pavel Demitra, leading scorer in the regular season, comes up large. That is your puck game. 3-2. The Blues win it, and St. Louis is back in it, trailing 2-1. And that streak of 5 straight overtime wins for Dallas is over. 6 of Dallas's 7 playoff games have been decided by 1 goal. Now, Demitra broke a 4-game goal-scoring slump in Game 2. He entered the game with a team worst -4. But most importantly in this one, he kept his team from going -3 in the series. Now, Dimitra led the Blues in virtually every offensive category in the regular season. It's carried over to a large degree in the playoffs despite that slump. But the site is really nothing new to the Stars. Dimitra, 12 points in 7 games against the NHL's top team, and all of these figures listed lead the Blues. You'll hear from the man who shot down the Stars a little later in the show.
The toxicology report on Steve Chason was made public Monday. It showed the Carolina Hurricanes defenseman was drunk when he was thrown from his pickup truck in a single-car accident in Raleigh last week. Chason's blood alcohol level was .27. That's more than 3 times the legal limit in the state. His teammate and his friend, Kevin Dineen, talked Monday about the night Chason was killed.
We had made plans, and unfortunately, I was out with Steve, and we were out in the garage, and we were talking, and I was smoking a cigar, and that's why we were out in the garage. And Steve stated that he was. I said I'm ready to go home and see the kids, and that's was the direct result. Is he wanted to go home and see his family, and he made the decision himself to go home, and obviously it was a bad decision.
Chason, who wasn't wearing a seatbelt, was traveling 74 miles per hour in a 55-mile-per-hour zone. Said Shannon Page, a spokesman for the state chapter of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, while we definitely feel for his family and his friends, he was 3.5 times over the legal limit. We're grateful he didn't kill anyone else.
Contrary to the original report in which authorities said they did not suspect drugs were to blame for Mark Tuinet's death, it now appears that was precisely the reason. The former Cowboys tackle injected heroin and took the stimulant ecstasy just hours before his death, according to an affidavit given by Cowboy fullback Nicky Solua. ESPN obtained a copy of the document which police used to get a warrant to search Tuinet's home. According to police documents, their search found marijuana, a marijuana cigarette, a cell phone containing phone numbers of the source of the illegally controlled substances, and a white tablet. Police have not said whether that tablet was ecstasy. A toxicology report on Tuinet's death is expected on Tuesday. Still to come here on SportsCenter. Well, you've seen some hockey highlights. You've seen Nomar go yard 3 times, but could the top hat trick of the night still be ahead? Justice and the Tribe try to cool the O's. John Smoltz has been the giant of the Braves staff. That doesn't mean facing the Giants isn't fraught with problems. And Dikembe has been known to wag the finger. Could he and the Hawks wag 2 fingers at the Pistons?
It's green. It's green. It's green. The all-new Volkswagen Golf. It's smarter looking, at least.
That's one race that I wish I could run over one more time.
The legendary Daytona 500 has broken a lot of hearts.
I was way out front in 1981, and that thing ran out of gas.
In 74, I blew a tire with 12 laps to go. But the biggest heartbreak of all would be trying to get into Daytona International Speedway using an American Express card. So if you want to enjoy the heart-pounding excitement of Daytona, bring your Visa card, official card of NASCAR.
My girlfriend let me here at Daytona. I sure miss that car.
A team of scientists have created a portal to a simulated universe.
I think one of them units crawled up an extension cord and killed his maker.
But what they couldn't anticipate...
What's this all about? Murder.
...is that the experiment...
This is a mistake. These people are real.
...would have a mind of its own. The 13th floor.
You could call it the end of the world.
Rated R. Opens everywhere May 28th.
Oh, well, it's clear to me these people have a powerful color sense. This emerald luminescence with hints of silver. Oh, eggshell taupe sea mist. They're very nice and perfectly respectable, but rolling rock green. It's a hard color to mix, but when you get it right, just looking at it makes you happier. I feel very good right now. Norm, huh?
SportsCenter is brought to you by Rolling Rock, a unique state of beer.
In Atlanta, the talk was, could the Hawks actually lead a playoff series 2-0 for the first time in 11 years? The talk in Detroit, elbows and noses. The elbows belonging to Dikembe Mutombo and the 3 noses he broke during the regular season, plus the 2 he came close to breaking in Game 1. Lindsey Hunter suffering a badly bruised right eye. Christian Laettner taking a blow to the face. No foul was called in either play, said Pistons coach Alvin Gentry. It's got to stop one way or another. To Atlanta,
as well.
Lindsey Hunter, the mark of Dikembe. Hawks a bit thin at forward. Allen Henderson out with an eye abrasion. Don't blame Big D on that one. One of the Hawks' healthy forwards, Chris Crawford, goes up for the tip, and it's good, but he hurts his shoulder going down hard. Crawford did not come back. Minor separation of the right shoulder. The Hawks' big man in the middle carrying the load. He doesn't mind. He just wants to win a championship. Jam and the foul. Dikembe 7 for 7, 15 points. That's in the first half. Hawks up 6 in the second half. Mookie Blaylock pushing it. Steve Smith, he scored 11 of his 21 in that third, where the Hawks went wild in that third period. Pistons can't get it going. Dikembe doesn't let it happen, swatting it away from Laettner. A few possessions later, Laettner is going to try again. This time it's Grant Long with a block. Hawks holding the Pistons to 10 points in that third. Bison Dele, foul trouble. Dikembe exploiting the middle. No one could put a body on this guy. Working in the post on Reed. Reed goes down. Mutombo jams it. Hawks up big in the fourth. Then Laettner, he gives it a shot. Nice try. Well, not really. Pistons coach Alvin Gentry said later, we're going to have to put all 5 guys on this guy. Laettner on Dikembe again. The move underneath, that's easy. A career playoff high 28 points. Pistons blown out in the Georgia Dome for the second straight game. Just 15 points for Grant Hill. So for the second straight game, the Hawks win, and they win easily by 20. Detroit sets a new playoff low in points for the second straight game. Bottom line, the Pistons don't have anybody to put a body on Dikembe Mutombo. In 2 games, the Big D has scored 45 points and pulled down 32 rebounds.
And I have to say, it's everybody's fault. Everybody, I mean, like I said, it's the coach's fault, it's the players' fault, but, you know, you can't have that kind of effort in the playoffs. You just can't do it. It's so unfair to everybody that's supposed to be our fans. Or anybody that's associated with our team. Is really unfair to them.
Alrighty then. Want more proof? The NBA scoring is down. The Pistons have scored just 139 points over their first 2 playoff games this season. That's the second fewest points scored over consecutive games in the postseason since the shot clock's inception back in 54-55. Now get this. The top 5 worst performances have come in the last 3 postseasons. Coincidence or disturbing trend? It is mind-boggling how dominant John Smoltz has been. I'm not talking just this season, where he leads the NL in ERA with a 1.69 average and a 5-0 record. No. I'm talking about the numbers Smoltz has posted since last year's All-Star break. How about a 17-1 record, an ERA of 2.12, not to mention a batting average of 255. A potential bubble buster came Monday. The Braves ace taking the mound against the Giants, the team Smoltz owns a 10-13 record against, his worst against any National League club. To San Francisco.
That's true.
There's Smoltz. Brett Boone facing Russ Ortiz. Having a really good season this year is Ortiz, but Boone says, well, that's impressive, but who cares? Number 6 on the year for Boone. He has a 13-game hitting streak. Bottom 1, Ellis Burks against Smoltz. 2 on, nobody out. And Burks wondering, where are my dogs at? Number 5 for Ellis, a 3-run home run, putting San Francisco up 3-1. To the 5th, Marvin Bernard against Smoltz. The bunt toward 3rd, Eddie Perez. Who is he throwing to? We'll go to 2nd on that play. Check out the replay. Hits home plate actually should be foul, and Bobby Karks has a case. He argues, and he's gone. Andrew Jones. Infield single, Rich Aurelia overthrows it, so Jones is safe, but watch JT Snow tag Jones, and they call him out. Can we see a replay just in case he has stepped out for beverage? This was actually called a turn towards 2nd, and, you know, Bobby Cox is still screaming from off the field. Wasn't he ejected? Giants win 4-1. Smoltz, he allows just 2 hits after that 3-run blast by Burks, but it was enough as Smoltz lost for the first time in 11 starts dating back to August 31st of last year. Ortiz allowing 1 run on 4 hits over 8 innings to win his 4th straight start as the Braves have dropped 4 of 6. Dodgers fresh off dropping 2 or 3 to the Marlins hosting the Cubs. 1-0 Cubs, man on first, Jose Hernandez. Comebacker, Ishmael Valdez, great catch, double play. Take another look. You might have been walking the dog. Valdez. Now hits it up right to himself. Glove save and a beauty. Great catch. Bottom 6-2-1 Dodgers. Raul Mondesi already with a 2-run homer, looking for another. Steve Traxel. I'm going to tell you in a couple of minutes why Mondesi loves hitting against Steve Traxel. That's a tease for you, right, Reese? But the Dodgers up 4-1. Top of the ninth, 4-3 Dodgers. Tying run at first, Jeff Shaw. They need him. Striking out Benito Santiago, and the Dodgers hang on by the score of 4-3. Now, what about Raul Mondesi, you wonder? Not only it's his 10th career multi-home run game, but that was his 6th home run in his career against Steve Traxel. His most against any pitcher. And the Cubs, meantime, have lost 5 of the last 7.
The conundrum of pitching to Manny Ramirez was summed up by teammate Dave Burba thusly. You make a decent pitch, he gets a hit. You make a bad pitch, you don't get the ball back. Tribe Slugger has worked that theory for a big league leading 41 RBIs in just 30 games. But little has worked against Juan Guzman, against whom Ramirez had never driven in a run. Batting just .091, but the O's won 6 out of 7. David Justice, meanwhile, 2-0 Orioles, 1 on, 1 out. Justice figures out Guzman. David takes it out, and check out the groundskeeper. Oh, that's just a groundskeeper getting it done with the lid. Tied at 2, worth another peek. Souvenir. Yes, sir. Bottom 5, 4-3 Orioles. Ramirez, who's been ripping everything. When it's going right, it's going right. A little squibber that scored Richie Sexton, and we are tied at 4. Next batter is Will Cordero. Base is still full, and Cordero rips one. B.J. Suroff. B.J. crashing into the wall of voodoo, making the catch, still tied at 4. Bottom 8 now, it's 5-4. Cordero this time. Make sure nobody will reel it in. His 4th job of the year. Indians go on to win it 6-4. Robbie Alomar actually drove in the go-ahead run with a sacrifice fly to former Oriole. This just moments after former Indian Albert Bell got picked off by Sandy Alomar in the 7th and was serenaded by the infamous Joey chant. 6-4 the final. O's lose for just the 2nd time in 8 games. Burba got the win, going 7. He gave up 4 runs and struck out 4. Ramirez, 42 RBIs on the season. Omar Vizquel, by the way, back in the lineup for the Tribe after missing 6 games with a bad thigh.
Coming up, the Giants' Jesse Armstead has 33 million reasons to show up at minicamp. Find out about that just ahead. Also ahead, can Isaiah Ryder and the Blazers go up 2-0 on the Suns? Highlights on this game coming up.
Guess what's about to hit your mailbox? Cablevision's money-saving coupons are on the way, featuring special offers from your favorite area retailers. From apparel to internet access, autos to restaurants, cards and gifts, electronics, home improvements, and jewelry. Cablevision's money-saving coupons have something for everyone. So head to your mailbox, but don't stand too close. And look for Cablevision's money-saving coupons.
The odds of having quadruplets are 1 in 650,000. The odds of having 2 sets of quadruplets, probably 1 in a billion. So what do you think the odds are of having 3 sets of quadruplets? Well, let's just say at the Valley Hospital in Ridgewood, New Jersey, we beat the odds.
Tomorrow on ESPN, SportsCenter, followed by Colorado-Detroit Game 3 and Baseball Tonight. On ESPN2, RPM Tonight, followed by Game 3 in the Toronto-Pittsburgh Playoff Series and NHL Tonight. And on ESPN Classic, NFL Films Championship Games, Sugar Ray's Hit Parade, and Big Fights Boxing Hour. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
Believe it or not, Kari Webb almost overslept past her tee time for Monday's back nine shootout in the storm-delayed Mercury title holder. She made it, won her 4th tournament of the year, tying the tournament record. Webb, let's face it, she's having a more dominant year than David Duval. Her worst finish is a tie for 8th this year. Her earnings so far more than double than anyone else on the tour this season.
Already seemingly relegated, being the 2nd most important race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, could the Indianapolis 500 be just 16 months away from being ranked 3rd? The date has been set for Formula One's return to the United States, September 24th, 2000. That's pending approval from F1's governing body. The U.S. Grand Prix joins Winston Cup's Brickyard 400 and possibly upstaging the Indy 500. Indy is uprooting much of the old speedway to accommodate F1. Included in the expansion, some new garages, new suites, a new scoring tower, all kinds of new things, and a new 13-turn road course, which will use part of the existing oval and winds its way through the infield. Well, two of the largest speedway owners in the country will merge into one superpower. International Speedway Corporation and Penske Motorsports will become one. The $700 million deal means ISC will own or operate 10 speedways, including some which host many of NASCAR's premier events. Daytona, Talladega, California, and Michigan are on the list. Richmond is not on the list. That doesn't mean it will lack excitement. At this race last year, Rusty Wallace put Jeff Gordon into the wall of voodoo and returned to the scene Saturday night here on the network.
Coming up, what about Mark McGwire? Remember, this season, just 6 home runs in 30 games. Could he improve on that on Monday? Plus, do the Suns have an answer for Brian Grant and the Blazers? This is SportsCenter.
The X Games. The only extreme event that matters. The X Games, June 27th to July 5th. Presented by Taco Bell.
He's a smooth ladies' man with one thing on his mind. He's a nacho-loving fool. Don't stand between the man and his chicken. Chicken nacho. Oh, yeah. Fungalicious.
Right now, grilled chicken nachos Bel Grande are just one of the great new ways you too can love chicken at Taco Bell.
Chicken nacho.
At ERA, we believe real estate isn't just about property. It's about people, understanding their needs, doing whatever it takes. It's helping the Perez family get a mortgage for their first home, then finding their movers, home warranty, even their home security system. It's giving the Simpsons an online profile of neighborhoods and school systems and helping them make sense of it all. Every time we help someone buy or sell a home, we help write a new chapter in their lives. ERA Real Estate.
You know, these days, lots of deodorants are talking antibacterial protection. Fact is, every deodorant is antibacterial, so it's not about that at all. It's about whose deodorant lasts longer. High endurance. Its 24-hour formula evaporates less quickly than the leading stick. Old Spice guarantees it, or they'll buy you a stick of yours. If you want odor protection that really lasts, high endurance exceeds the need.
Little football now. Jesse Armstead was planning to go to minicamp anyway on Tuesday. He's just going to arrive happier now. The Giant backer has a new deal, $33 million over 7 years, $6 million up front. Armstead, who had 4 years left on his old contract, which was ripped up, earned the new deal by leading the Giants in tackles for the last 3 years.
Poetry it was not. In fact, the verbal sparring between Ron Gant and Tony La Russa this past spring, well, it was quite ugly. The makeover began Monday when Gant and the Phillies visited La Russa and the Cardinals for the first time since the trade of Gant last November. If that's not enough, this game marked the first time J.D. Drew was facing the Phillies, the team which drafted him, the team he held out for a year against, the team he chose not to play for, the team which now can't stand him. And guess what? Drew was not in the starting lineup. It's a quad problem, they say. Tony La Russa watching Ron Gant's first at bat
23.
Back in St. Louis, and not much there.
Ball shortstop.
Gant grounds out to short. Gant 0 for 3, and Cards fans made him feel right at home by booing him. Gant watching the other left fielder, showing some fine D. Desi Relaford, Ray Langford, nice catch. Cards down 2-0. Mark McGwire says not anymore. His first home run at Busch Stadium since April 11th. Only the second homer allowed by Carlton Lower this year, with tied at 2 on Big Mac's 7th. It was 3-2 Cards in the 8th. Bases full. Fernando Tatis likes this situation. He'll take that. His one and only hit of the night drove in 2, and it was 5-2 St. Louis. Top of the 9th. Phil's down 3. Bases loaded for Rico Brogna. 1 out. Scott Radinsky induces the game-ending 4-6-3 double play as Radinsky comes to the rescue of Ricky Bottalico, who struggled. Radinsky's third save. 5-2 the final there as the Cardinals find a way. What about Bottenfield? He wins his 5th game. The last time he ties his career high with his 5th win. Brought back wonderful memories when he went 5-10 in 1993 playing for Montreal in Colorado.
Luke Longley's favorite catchphrase is "no worries." That phrase did not apply Saturday when his sons had a couple of big worries. Luke's primary trouble, Arvydas Sabonis, who had 12 points, 8 boards, 8 dimes, 3 blocks, and 3 steals while holding Longley to 2 points. The Suns' biggest worry overall, J.R. Rider, who lit up Phoenix for a career-high 25. No worries? Says Luke, we will if we don't get a game on Monday. Off to the Rose Garden. Blazers up 1-0 first quarter. Phoenix comes out cold. Googs with the miss, and Portland's going to take that and run with it. Damon
20 seconds to play.
Finding Rasheed for the stuff. Blazers up by 13. Wallace with 21 points on the night. Into the first quarter, Isaiah Rider had a huge game. Isaiah J.R. calling me the one. Knocks it down at the buzzer, 33-17 after one. Second quarter more from the Blazers. Stoudemire was just getting it done. Dishing inside Brian Grant, baptizes it. 22, a career playoff high. 13 assists for Damon. Blazers by 14. Suns would fight back. At Garrity, seeing it and being it. He had 10 at the half. Suns down just 5. Third quarter still fighting back. Kidd, McLeod drains the triple. Suns down 3, but they would not get any closer than that. More from Damon. Damon weaving around, working the corner, and finally taking it himself, and sweet move along the baseline. Damon finished up with 22, Blazers by 9. And in the fourth, the Blazers getting some help off the bench. Jimmy Jackson. Oh, that's a nice weapon to bring off the bench. A dozen for him. The Blazers go on to win it 110-99. Arvydas only had 2 points in this game, and he still outscored Luke, who went scoreless. Ryder finished up with 17 this time. The important thing, Portland shot 71% in the first quarter, 57% from the game. They're unbeaten against the Suns this year, swept them in the regular season as well. And Danny Ainge knows that his team is going to have to shoot better to avoid the playoff sweep as well.
I felt good at halftime. I felt good, halfway through the third. I felt good toward the end of the third. It was we hit a really bad spell. And, I gave their defense a great deal of credit in game one. I really felt that we had really good looks. Shots that we wanted, shots that we had been making to get us back in the game, and we just hit a cold spell. And, that's what happens when you're shooting a lot of perimeter shots.
Well, they're down 2-0, but Pat Riley and the Heat all even. Riley implored his team to play like a #1 seed, and they did. How they got even with the Knicks coming up later on the show.
Also coming up, it's called Subtraction by Addition, why Steve Yzerman may have to miss the Wings' next game against the Avalanche. And the Diamondbacks always, you know this, they always have a shot when Randy Johnson takes the mound. Monday's action at the Bob ahead.
I'm an engineer,
an architect,
a CEO who needed,
had to have
notebook computers,
preloaded with a powerful, easy-to-use, reliable business operating system. So I called Dell. Dell pre-installed Windows NT Workstation on custom-built Latitude notebooks.
Dell pioneered this direct way of providing solutions, which is good. It's genius.
Be direct. Dell. Dell notebooks use Intel Pentium 2 processors.
The soft drink syndicate knows there's still some people who resist them.
Coupons in Sector 3, sir.